Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and
Tonight's subject should be.
Right, hang on. Before we go any further, there was no sound. There is now sound.
There is now sound.
So we now need to just start all of that again.
We'll start all of that again.
That entire conversation. We need to start again.
I can't even remember what I said.
That we were just after the nick of time.
Keir Starmer being a... Oh, no, hang on.
No.
No, that was before. So we were saying we were here.
Yep, after 3 weeks.
We've been here after 3 weeks, and even 3 weeks have gone by, and we've not even bothered to discuss what we're going to talk about tonight. We're still, because that's not unusual. We didn't even bother to discuss it in the final minutes of the countdown.
We really didn't.
We didn't. So if you're in the chat, and we know people are in the chat because we've been told that we're technical.
Numpties.
I'm not being cancelled today.
I say you can't say the R word.
You can't say the R word. Rumpelstiltskin. Rejected. So get into the chat and tell us what tonight's subject should be, and we'll go with the first suggestion, unless we really hate it. So there we go. You are. What was the phrase I said earlier when there was no sound because we're shit? I said this is your opportunity to steer the Good Ship Tuesday show.
Yep.
So there we go.
You have control, audience.
I just said there we go, and we got the comment. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. So
there we go.
No, thanks Ruby for pointing out that I was a complete muppet and did not check that the audio was working. Problem is, it's been 3 weeks. So there's been updates to my computer. There's been updates to Streamlabs.
Yeah.
There's been all sorts of stuff going on, and I checked everything else. I checked our video was good. I checked we were framed okay. I made sure everything was working, but I did not check that the audio was playing. So that's on me. Sorry, everybody.
Do you know, the funny thing is, before we actually went live, I was saying to you, "Oh my God, the sound's not on, is it?" Because I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything I don't want heard on like a hot mic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the opposite was true. Even when we were on, we had no sound. So there we go.
Very true.
There we go.
Yeah. Better no sound at all than a hot mic situation.
Yeah. So our thanks to Ruby and also
Ruby.
Bex for pointing out the technical issues there. And we have another comment in as well. At least we didn't let you. This is from Ruby. At least we didn't let you go the full stream that way. Can you imagine?
That would have been terrible. That really would have been bad.
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
It would kind of amusing. Yeah.
It really would.
Do you remember we had? We've done it before where we were doing recorded shows,
yeah,
and we've done a whole show, and then somehow we didn't hit record or something.
Yeah, we forgot to press record, or we'd accidentally stopped recording, or there was always something. And I feel like, because it's obviously, okay, so this is another technical fault for me this week. And like the previous weeks, there's been something. I can't remember what the first one was. It was something really dumb though. And again, I think it was after a week away for something. So now I feel like this just has to be the thing. There has to be a technical error of some description on the show every week. Just it's going to be characteristic now. This is just how we do our show.
Yeah,
there is something. So
yeah, there's always something. So it's your job to spot it and let us know. So yes, yeah. So tell us what you think tonight's subject should be, and we will discuss it.
We will discuss it.
Otherwise, you know what'll happen. We'll be talking about bacon.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Oh dear, oh dear. Do you know what? I'm in the recovery stages of a terrible cold.
COVID?
I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe.
But no, I don't think it was. I just had a sore throat and just sort of standard, obviously worse than COVID because COVID's just sniffles anyway. But no, it was fine. It was, I'm over it now. I think.
Did you have man flu? I think that's the.
No, that's a very sexist thing to say. No, I had I just had a bad cold.
Okay.
If I had flu, I wouldn't have left the house. In fact, I barely left the house. But I had a bad cold, and it was bad. It was like my ears were blocked. In fact, they're blocked now. Oh no, it's headphones. I had a terrible headache, the nose, the throat, and also joints, which I'm not sure if it was connected, but actually I feel a little bit freer in the knuckles now.
That's interesting.
So I don't know what who knows?
Well, now I am thinking COVID because that was a thing.
Was it?
COVID was very broad brush description. It was very.
It was everything, wasn't
that's it. It was just like, oh, you've got a sore throat, you've got flu-like symptoms, you get joint and muscle pain. You might get a runny nose if you're lucky. Yeah. If you're unlucky, your eyeballs will start sweating. Something will happen to your testicle. And you're just like, you're just saying,
your hat will fall off. It all happen.
You're just like, your trousers will explode. You just You're just literally saying every symptom possible. You're just pointing it at COVID.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But then again, they were just taking the piss, really.
Oh yeah.
If you got decapitated in a yachting accident, they'd say, well, you had COVID.
But what wasn't that a thing with the? I don't want to get into the politics around COVID, but because that was a thing with like all the reporting and like deaths and hospital cases and things. They were just basically going, COVID related.
Do you know you can actually say some of this now without going to a gulag? Yes, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of bullshit, and we should all be very aware that there's a lot of bullshit for the next time the bullshit comes and we recognise it and we go, no,
it's bullshit.
No, you're lying to us.
Exactly. And then the government decided to put trackers in everybody by issuing free across the world. So now the government knows what you're doing, and 5G networks will do something as well. I don't remember what that conspiracy theory was about.
Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. Especially considering you use the V word, not vagina.
I'm confused. Hang on, what V word did I say?
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on to we can't move swiftly on because the people in the chat.
You're not chatting, chat more.
Yeah, highly critical when it comes to our sound output. Right. But when we actually give them something to do, when we ask them a very simple task, which is what are we going to talk about tonight, they can't come up with a single thing.
Nope.
Come on. Anything.
Just
tell us.
Anything or everything.
Anything or everything. Not food. Don't talk about food. We're not going to talk about food.
We're not doing food today.
No.
We're not doing food.
Well, apart from anything else, I end up so hungry when we do that.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to somebody earlier, and like I'd not long had something to eat, and then they started talking about some food, and I was like, now I need to go and make more food. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. I'm already full, but now I want to go and eat more. You just can't win.
You cannot win.
You just can't win.
No, once you pop, you can't stop.
Pringles. I want Pringles now.
Oh, sorry. See, this is dangerous territory.
It really is.
Right, who do we know we've got? We know we got Ruby. We know we got Bex. Unless they've gone. If there's anybody out there, there'll be lurkers as well.
Is
If you're a
anybody
lurker,
there?
get in the chat and ask us a question.
What we
Don't
need,
ask us a question. Tell us what the subject for tonight is.
what we need, Ted, is like our own mini seance. We need to like join hands virtually, of course, and just and say, "Is anybody there?" Yeah, and see if any spirits come and give us some inspiration.
Is there anybody there?
Is anybody there?
FM.
It just reminds me of a skit or a bit or a sketch or whatever it is from Jack D. And he said he ended up round at someone's house and they were having a séance, but and someone farted and he couldn't. He just started laughing uncontrollably, but he wanted to like pull his hands in, but he couldn't. And everyone starts gripping his hands tight, and they're like, "Someone's come to Jack." Who is it? And he's just like, "Oh, Jimi Hendrix." I love Jack D.
Do you believe in the occult at all?
No.
CJ?
No. No. Lack of physical evidence.
Lack of physical. So no ghosts.
No.
Is that...
Don't believe in ghosts.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't believe in ghosts or poltergeists or spooks, specters. I'm trying to think of every description out of the movie Ghostbusters as I can.
Ghouls.
Yeah.
Ghouls. That's another one.
Ghouls. Yeah.
Spirits.
Yeah. Rick Moranis. He's not dead, by the way.
Okay.
But he was in Ghostbusters.
Oh right. Yeah. Right.
He got possessed.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. In the movie, not him himself. I mean, he might have done, I don't know. But,
well, obviously not, because it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So,
yes.
There you go.
Yeah, I often think, when people say, "Oh, I wouldn't go, such and such, I've got a haunted house or something." Oh, no, you haven't.
No, you don't. Yeah, no, you don't.
No, I saw a ghost. No, you didn't.
You didn't.
Mind you, I find that very often, particularly with women, because they don't believe in all these sort of things, what's the
astrology?
Astrology, that's it.
The old star signs and all that nonsense.
Yeah. But very often when people say, they say they're an atheist, I go, "Oh, okay. Do you believe in ghosts?" And if they say yes, they've completely destroyed any argument they would have for atheism. It's like, okay, no, you're agnostic. Because you can't have things going on that we don't know about and other things that can't possibly be the case.
Right.
Yeah. So there we go.
So what's an atheist? That's someone who has zero belief whatsoever, right?
Yes, yeah, basically zero. There is no God, there is no nothing other than scientific fact that you can see in front of you, or you can't see in front of you, but you're aware of.
Right. So then, what's an agnostic?
Agnostic is don't know, basically.
Right. Okay.
Agnostic is the Liberal Democrats of the religious world.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not offended. No, I don't come to
that. Yeah, so they don't know because, and I think it's fair to say that probably nobody knows. And people say, well, actually, how can you possibly believe? How can you believe in that if you do? No, hang on. What do they say? Say, oh, there's no evidence of God, so therefore there isn't a God. I'm like, well, yeah, but the point there is people have faith or they don't have faith.
Yeah.
And if it's right in front of you, you can see it, and you can prove it, then that's not something you need faith for. So it's about people having faith or not having faith.
True.
Yeah. Something like that. I'm not a theologian.
No, me neither. I'm pretty sure that's an alien species in Star Trek, though, a theologian. Sounds like it should be. No, I don't know. Do we want to get into religion? I feel like we're on be nice if we
Well,
do.
religion's fine. There are certain there's certain ones to avoid.
So there's obviously certain things not to talk about.
Yeah.
No, I think religion is not about physical evidence. It's not about proving that whether a god or many gods or whatever your particular belief system tells you actually exists. It's just like you say. It's about having faith. It's about having
Gotta have faith.
guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's quite a strong one when I think about how people. And I'm going to take Americans as the example here. Generally across America, much more faithful than we are here in the UK. But a lot of it is about guidance and just belief that everything will be okay. And I think that's really where a lot of it is, what a lot of it is for. Personally, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that I'm faithful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe. I think. But then again, I'm also miserable. So what does that tell you?
Well, there you go. You need God to take comfort in, and then you might feel a bit happier.
Precisely.
No, I kind of get that. I mean, it's going to make you feel a little bit better that there's something at the end of the tunnel. I mean, if you die.
Although, because the thing is, there's a lot of this. Don't worry. Anything bad that you can go through in your life, Jesus has gone through it as well. And he came out okay. And I'm now thinking to myself, well, 2024 years ago, I'm pretty sure this guy died with some serious anxiety and depression under his belt. As well as many broken bones and, crushing debt. Not just crippling, but crushing debt. There's a lot of things that go on in people's lives, and Jesus can't have done all of it, can he? I just don't think it's possible.
Well, no, he wasn't aggravated because he's forgotten his password to get into his Google Mail.
I say, was he hacked? Did he suffer ransomware?
That's clearly not happened to the guy, but sort of certain worse things have happened as well. But yes, and maybe there was crippling debt, and he got out of it by I don't know, attacking the money lenders or something. But if you're going to be not strapped, but nailed to a cross, that's going to have PTSD at the very least. So,
did Jesus succumb to the fall of Northern Rock and have his mortgage cancelled?
No, okay. Let's just say he had different issues. It was a different time. It was a different time and a different place. But there we go. Let's move on from that.
Yeah.
Blimey, the chat has exploded with absolute silence.
It's that phrase, silence is deafening.
Where are you?
It's so true. Me, I'm at home.
Yeah.
Where are you?
No, I meant the people who should be in the chat saying, "Oh yes, we would like a discussion on badgers, please," or anything.
Look, chat.
Anything other than let us crack on and jibber jabber about Jesus.
Right. Look, chat. That your one job is literally in your description. You are the chat. So chat.
And one of them, has taken up the mantle. Bex says, topic, if you win the lottery, what would you do with the money?
An oldie but goodie.
An oldie but a goodie, yes.
An oldie but goodie. Would you like to go first?
The interesting thing about this is that, obviously, depending on the amount, if it was 25 quid, then forget it. But
I won £3.40 the other week and I bought myself a Mars bar.
Wow. Well, there you go. There's your answer. But if we're talking about big money, so several £1 million, we've already discussed this off air, and in some way there's some sort of link, but yes, one thing would be certainly giving up work and doing podcasting.
Well, giving up work and moving more into the content creation space. You know, which
yes,
for me would include this podcast, of course.
absolutely.
But you know, all the other things that I'm interested in that I just don't have the time and motivation to do right now. Mainly because I don't have the time and I'm tired.
But we would have a nice studio. Got a nice studio, but we would have a proper studio. We'd have like a TV studio. We'd have people bringing us hot and cold drinks. We'd have researchers. We'd have people making sure that the tech works, making sure that the sound is on. Yes, we would do that, and also probably probably not an awful lot else really. I think that would we'd definitely be busy. I'd definitely be busy, but doing things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and driving an Aston Martin. Yeah.
See, now if it was me, I would be, like you say, I think once that money is in my bank account, and that's a key thing, I would absolutely quit my job. And I would be, one of the first things I'd be doing is making moves to move to America. I'd be absolutely being like, right, how the hell do I get out of this shit pile of a country? I want to go to America. Where I would then set up, some kind of headquarters, a CJ Brooks Media headquarters. Excuse me, which would include a gaming space, a drumming space, and a studio space for recording podcasts. And if you would like to join me in America, Ted, I would happily sponsor you to come out and join me in America to record the podcast and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think if I had that kind of money, one of the first things I'd be doing is looking at how quickly I can get out of the UK. Just because I want to get out of the UK. I've wanted to live in America for a long time anyway, and with that kind of money, you can make it happen.
As I was saying before we even started the podcast, if I had the money, I'd be gone. I'd be gone, and I'd take people with me.
Yep.
That sounds a bit threatening, actually. I mean, to the States. I mean, I go to Texas, and yeah, build a podcast studio. No, we'll just build one between us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. So there we go. I think that's pretty much wrapped that question up.
Yeah. Like you say, it all depends really upon how much. So, I think about and I think we've discussed this before. So there's in the UK lottery system in the Euro Millions at least, which is what I play. There's something called the Millionaire Maker raffle where you can win £1 million as a raffle prize, which is cool. I'm totally here for that. Because actually, realistically, I think that's all I'd need for me to quit work. Even without thinking about moving to the US, £1 million, that would buy me a modest home. Even where I am right now. I mean, there was a home for sale just over the road from where I live not that long ago. I think it's still for sale right now, actually. Less than £300,000. Three bedroom, detached, with a garage, front and rear gardens, so a driveway, so it's got off-road parking. It's actually a nice looking house. I'd want to make some changes to it. I saw the layout and it's not great, but I'd make changes to it. So even after that, so there's 300 grand in buying the house, plus your stamp duty and everything else you got to pay for just for the pleasure of buying a house, plus renovations. You're looking £400,000 easily.
Yeah.
Moving into that kind of property, which would be enough for me as I am right now. I live on my own. I would continue to live on my own at that point. So a 3-bedroom property is enough for me. I would, with £1 million, I might look at buying a new car. But I do quite like the car I have, so I'd just pay that off. I'd clear my debts. And let's say with all of that, I am exaggerating a lot, but let's say so half of that money is gone just on house, car, clearing debts, etc.
Sounds all right. Yep.
That still leaves me with £500,000. Now, even if I'm mortgage free, debt free. Literally all I have to do is pay my monthly bills, which amount to, not a lot in the grand scheme of things. I won't say exactly how much it is, but if you take away all the debt side of things and car payments and all that kind of stuff, it's actually not that much. So realistically, I could survive on, say, pay myself, I don't know, £18,000 a year. That's £1,500 a month. That'd cover my bills, my food, all that stuff, and I'd still have money left over.
Yep.
How long would £500,000 last if I'm only paying myself 15 grand a year? Okay, and let's exaggerate a little bit and say, obviously, due to inflation and such like, I would need to end up paying myself more eventually. So that's fine. So let's say over the course of that £500,000 that I'm paying myself, I actually only need to pay myself 25 grand a year, which is just over £2,000 a month.
Right.
Again, accounting for small amounts of inflation, and but I can save some of that money and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's still 20 years of paying myself a salary out of that £500,000. 20 years, and I don't have to work.
I don't believe your 25 grand is going to be worth an awful lot in 10 years' time, let alone 20 years' time.
No, and that's why I'm saying account for inflation. But at the same time, I'm also then looking at that whole prospect of I don't have to work a full-time job, so I can focus on content creation. Maybe then there's time and money and energy to focus on content creation and potentially make something out of that.
Yeah.
Being successful and making money as a content creator is incredibly difficult, and it requires a lot of hard work and a lot of dedicated time. But if I don't have a full-time job, I've suddenly got the time.
Yeah.
And I can do that. So why not? Why would I not do that?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Or spend more time working on myself, learning, finish off my university course, all that stuff, and then go and get another job that's actually much better than the one I've got.
You certainly have to think about what happens when the 20 years is up.
Absolutely. I'll probably be dead by then.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Also, you also have to factor in, every few years, let's say every 5 years, yes, your car's paid, but then you might want to have another car.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's where the whole 25 grand a year, but realistically, I can save quite a bit of that. I'm not a jet setter. I'm not going to go traveling around the world. That's not my speed. So I'd be saving, and I would be occasionally taking holidays. Twice, 3 times a year. Go off somewhere, and then. Yeah, but I'm still saving money through that. Okay, I'd treat myself occasionally and fly business class. I at least once in my lifetime, I'd like to be able to board a plane and turn left. So yeah, that's the thing. That's something I'd like to do at some point. But again, it's not something I do all the time. I don't know. But like I say, I've put a fair amount of thought into it and thought that's okay. Even if that lasts 10 years, I can do a lot in 10 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do in 10 years.
There's a lot you can do in 10 years. Yeah. But then, I mean, space 10 years, that's 50 grand a year. I suppose if you're mortgage free, but you've still got everything else. I tell you what, though, I mean, even if you had $1 million or you had like 20 million or whatever you won on the lottery at the moment, I'd be, I think the communists in number 10 would probably try and strip you of as much of it as possible. So I like the first option, which is run away.
Yeah, run away.
Run away.
So isn't lottery winnings are tax free? The interest you earn from having those winnings in your bank, that's what you end up paying tax on.
Yeah.
So that's where they get you.
Yeah. And some capital gains on your house purchase as well, I should imagine.
Oh, yeah, there'd be... See, this is why I'm also like, modest house. That way I'm not paying through the nose for stamp duty or capital gains. I'm just avoiding it, I don't have to deal with that because I'm thinking more modestly. But like you say, if it was a big win, let's say it's the 50 million on the Euro Millions, I'm out. I'm gone. See you, UK. I'm going there, America. Yeah. That's where I'm going. Trump can have my money instead.
So yeah, in the chat, what would you do if you won the lottery? Bex, you asked the question. Come in with an answer. What would you do?
Never ask a question you're not prepared to answer yourself.
Well, absolutely,
That's
absolutely. Although I do that all the time. It's not that I'm not prepared to. It's just that I haven't thought of a pre-planned. You know, I'll ask. Hey, what's your favourite such and such? And I won't have thought about it for myself.
Yeah.
But yes, it'd be interesting to know what other people would do with their lottery money. And I mean, obviously, one of the answers is to sponsor the Tuesday Show podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's clearly one of those things. And then it would allow us to spend more time on content creation.
Exactly.
And giving you the entertainment that you deserve.
Exactly. I'd say if you win, mega bucks on a lottery somewhere, whether I don't know, let's say Euro Millions, the National Lottery, Powerball, whatever. Please, buy or start up a media business and hire the two of us, us guys here, him and me, and we will provide entertainment, even if it's just for your own benefit, and nobody else's.
We'll just do a stream straight to your living room.
Yep. How weird would that be?
In your living room.
We could do it in your living room.
I mean, if the money's good enough, we could be a traveling show.
That's too much work. We have to remember out of all of this that I am incredibly lazy, and I don't like work. I don't like hard work.
Yes, but we haven't discussed the fee yet.
That's
it
true.
Might be worth it.
It might be worth it.
Yeah.
But I can't guarantee that the fee wouldn't be mentioned on the show as my motivation for being there at that particular moment. So what brings you over here? Money.
Yeah.
Someone's paying me handsomely to be here. So.
Do you know what? I'm just going to shift in my seat slightly because.
Well, I do it all the time.
Yeah. Do you know when you just can't quite get it right?
I was just about to drop her. That's what she said, but then I was like, no, that won't fit there.
No,
but that's also what she said.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's contagious.
Yeah, like yawning.
Yeah. What was I saying? Something about the
podcasting in someone's living room.
Podcasting in somebody's living room. That wasn't what I was thinking of. Something else. And then I needed to adjust myself. So there we go. If you win the lottery, anyone out there in the chat, perhaps I need some sort of better chair. You could buy me a chair.
I'll buy you one of these, mate. I'll buy you a Secret Lab.
Oh yeah, that's very good.
I've actually been thinking about there's some things going on at work at the minute where I'm trying to make some changes and things for the positive, and I was like, at some point I need to save up some money. I don't even know why the work thing came up. I need to save up some money and buy another one of these chairs for my work office.
Right.
Because the chair I've got is just awful. It's just so bad. And it's one that work gave me, and I'm like, so I feel really bad if I complain about it, but I'm just like, it's comfortable, but the armrests have started, they've cracked and all the rubber's come off and the fillings come out, and I'm just like, well, this is just terrible.
Yeah.
This is clearly cheap and nasty. And I'm like, one of these would be, I've had this chair now for 3 years. And it's perfect. I love it. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit grubby. It needs a decent clean. I need to get a proper cleaner thing for it. And even down to the armrests are detachable.
Okay.
But look, they're no cracking, no nothing. They're amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. And it's just they're so damned expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I win the lottery, mate, I'll buy you one of these chairs. There you go. That's my pledge to you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the amount. I mean, obviously, if you win a modest amount, maybe a chair would be nice. But if you come up big, like millions upon millions, then yes, being flown out to Texas and starting a new life would be nice as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll see what I can do. Ruby's been in the chat.
Yes, indeed.
Lottery win. Buy a house, create a much-needed daycare centre for the area, then... I don't know. I'm sure you'd think of something.
Yeah.
maybe spend some money to bring 2 of your favorite content creators out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Tuesday show goes stateside.
Yep.
Um,
I'll need a new chair too. Thanks for the reminder, CJ. You're welcome. Yeah.
What a boring bunch of bastards we really are. Here we are. People saying, "Oh, what would you do if you're in the lottery?" And we're talking about buying chairs.
Hi, audience. And if you've just joined us, welcome. Welcome to the Tuesday show. Good.
You can't beat a good chair. I mean, it's not. You can't. A good sit down is well worth the money.
I mean, this chair. Okay, I'm not advertising. I'm not trying to advertise Secret Lab. We're not sponsored by them or anything like that. But like I say, I've had this chair for 3 years. It's definitely an investment. And like I say, it costs 550 quid when I bought it. I think quite a lot of money. But for gaming or working, it is the most comfortable chair I've ever had, or ever had the pleasure to, rest my buttocks in. It's very, very good. The only one that I think has come close, or maybe slightly better, was the chair so there was like some chairs that we had when I worked for a security company. They're designed for 24-hour use, and they were like full mesh, so it wasn't even like a padded seat. It was still a mesh bit on the seat as well, but my God, they were really, really comfortable.
Really?
Surprisingly comfortable, yeah. So I've been looking for something like that for years and cannot find them. Yeah. I don't know where they got them from. I can't find them anywhere. But like I say, these are amazing. Like I say, I'm thinking about getting a second one. I'd like to put maybe this one into my office, my work office, and then get a new like leather one for in here. Or leatherette, or Napa leather, or whatever they call it on the Secret Lab website. Because this is a what do they call it? Soft weave fabric, which is really nice, and it is cool and doesn't get too hot. It does get grubby really easily, though.
Right.
Thankfully, I don't think it really comes out on camera too much. But like, there's a bit on the top here. It's a bit grubby. Because I sit here like this sometimes, and my grubby old hands make the top of the chair grubby. So, especially in the summer.
That's going to happen when you got a white chair.
It's blue, actually. It's frost blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is not white.
It looks white.
It looks very whitish from here, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's actually frost blue.
Oh, there we go.
They do a white one. They call it Arctic white, and it actually looks really nice. But now I've seen how grubby this thing can get, I am absolutely not buying an Arctic white chair. The other one they do is like a grey, and it's grey and black, and they call it cookies and cream. It's not quite cream coloured. It's like a very, very light grey. I like that one, and I might have a look again at that one because I think that one will hide the dirt a bit better.
Chairs, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
This is the content you came here for, right?
It is. Yeah.
Give
so
the
anyway,
people what they want.
We definitely give people what they want, or at very least what they deserve. So anyway, if you're in the chat, you've had your answer about what we would do if we won the lottery. Basically this, and probably a new car, and somewhere to live.
I might splash out for a new pair of shoes.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nice. What kind?
The ones that go on your feet.
Okay. Yeah. No, I need to get some new shoes actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I hope the lottery comes up soon. I
need to win 50 quid on the lottery just so I can buy some damn shoes. Help, please.
Yes, if you're in the chat, get in the chat again. Tell us what you would do if you won the lottery, and also if you've got another subject that you think. If you think we've exhausted the subject of lottery wins, then steer us in another direction.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for Bex. Bex is the one that proposed the question.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, where's Bex at?
What the hell?
What the hell, man?
What would you do? What would you do with all the money?
What would you do with all the money?
What would you do? Would you use it for good or for evil?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That really is a good question. I mean, I know there are people out there that say things like, I'd give out some money to charity, or donate it to a homeless shelter or something. And very noble if that's what you actually do. If that's what you do. I mean, yeah, if I won like when you get these super duper whooper jackpots on Euro Millions that are like £120 million.
Yep.
You know what? I think I can afford to drop 20 million on some charities.
Fuck it.
That still leaves me with £100 million, dude. I'm good.
Do you know what? I probably would do, but I probably would do, but I wouldn't, because
I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to, just because you look at the chief exec salaries for some of these charities, and where a lot of the money ends up going, you just think, well, actually, no, I won't. Do I want to fund that?
True. I think some research is required.
Oh, definitely.
Make sure it goes to a good place.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just tight. Probably.
Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. But I'm not commenting either way on that. No, I'd like to think that if I got that super jackpot thing that happens every so often, that there would be some money going to charity. But I know me. I know what I'm like. I am a little bit selfish, and I would absolutely be like, but I want this money. I've got big plans.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said, and I can't remember if I've discussed this on the show or not. I'm sure I've said it to you though, but I know that my immediate family would all be set. And I've kind of working it on a bit of a 10% rule. So whatever the jackpot winning is, 10% of it is going to each of my family. And there's 7 of them. So that still leaves me with 30% of those winnings. And then some select friends will receive some as well. What they then choose to do with it is up to them, whether they want to just go and blow it, or whether they want to quit work and invest in something else. That's cool too. I haven't figured out the percentage on that, because I don't know how tight I want to be with it. But then the rest of it is basically me to say goodbye UK, hello America.
Yeah.
Hey Donald Trump, I know you're already a multi-billionaire, but I got some cash. I'd like to come in if you don't mind. And just live a quiet life. In the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Cheers.
Cool.
Just give me good internet, please.
Yeah.
Just give me good internet so I can play my games, I can podcast, I can do some other bits, and live a quiet life with a family. The whole white picket fence American dream type thing. Give me a basement, a house with a basement, because the basement will be the gaming room.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a proper air-conditioned basement.
Yeah.
That'll be my gaming space. Out of the way of everybody. So when I'm screaming in the middle of the night, because I'm playing games, I'm not going to disturb the neighbors or the family, and I'll be okay. Yeah. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, very, very. Sounds great. Sounds great.
American dream. That's what I'm about.
You can get Starlink. So no matter where you are.
Starlink. Oh,
yeah.
Right. For a second, I thought you said Stalin.
Oh, right.
And I went no, but then you said
no. Stay in the UK,
Starlink.
get Stalin. Taking all your cash.
Yep.
That's why you're going to the States in the first place.
That's why I'm getting out of the UK to start with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keir Starlin.
Yeah. So get in the chat. Tell us what you'd do with the money. Bex, what would you do with your money if you won the lottery?
I was like, come on, Bex, how much more opportunity do you want? We're
and
talking
of course, anybody
here.
else, he was lurking about in the in the background. Get in the chat and let us know.
Yep. Lurk.
Yeah. So there we go. Anything else you would buy?
With the lottery money?
I don't even. It's not even as that I want that much. Do I think about this and I think, well, people go out and buy boats and stuff like that. But I don't have any real desire for that kind of stuff.
There was a thing I thought of once about buying a house near a canal so I could own a barge.
You can own a barge without the house.
I know, but because I
In
like
fact, you can
barges.
buy the barge, live in it. That's your house.
Oh, could you imagine that as a millionaire? Just being, just literally, you are completely undercover secret millionaire, aren't you? Because you're just like, I just live in a barge, mate.
Yeah, it'd be a great barge, though, wouldn't it?
Really would.
Yeah.
Party barge over here. What else would I buy? No, I like barges, and I feel like the point of a barge is just so you can just travel the canals of the UK, and just basically get lost. But I also I like my creature comforts.
Yeah.
I do like my home comforts. But yeah, what else would I buy? Like, a house, car, full furnishings for said house as well. That's the thing. And I'm literally looking at it going, well, I'm investing in this now for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Because after 10 years, you're going to want to change anyway. Probably sooner than that, knowing me. ADHD and all that. That's really it. And then probably plenty of plane tickets. Just to be like, all right, I'm going on holiday. See ya. If I had Big Jack again, if we're just talking about the £1 million raffle prize, that's not going to happen. But again, if we're talking super, like full on jackpot win, I'm out of this country. I'm gone. I'm literally buying myself into the US if I can. I hope the feds aren't listening to this, just in case. I'm going to get myself over to America and live a quiet life.
Yep.
Because that's all I really want. And I'm pretty sure most people are like that. I know there are adventurous people out there. I mean, there's that Michael Carroll character who won the jackpot on the lottery and basically blew it within 2 years or something. And because he bought a massive house and he basically built like a dirt track out the back and bought loads of quad bikes for him and his mates, and he basically just blew all the money. Yeah. I don't know what he does now. No idea.
I think he got a job as a bin man. I think that was what his job was before.
Yeah, he just.
And then I think he ended up going back. Yeah, but he got himself into all sorts of trouble. But he was the sort of chap to get himself into trouble anyway.
Yeah.
He was just doing it on a bit of a grander scale because he had the money.
Yeah.
For driving old bangers around his garden and stuff.
Yeah. But I just want a quiet life. I really do. It's quite a. I know some people probably look at that and be like, "Oh my god, how boring is that?" But it's like, you know what? I'm just quite. I love watching. I love television. I love movies. I love games. I am a couch potato. I look like a potato. I'm not the outdoor adventurous type, so my investments would be in things that make me happy around that space. So there would be, if I could afford a massive house with multiple bedrooms and multiple, reception or living rooms, one of those would, I dream of a house that I could build that would actually have a double basement. One room in the basement is the gaming space. The other room in the basement is a home theater with big, massive, comfy leather chairs, massive screen on the wall, ultra HD projector, decent sound system, because that's what I like. That's the kind of thing I'm into. I'm into tech gadgets like that. So yeah, that's really where I'd be with it. And I'd like to have a nice car. I mean, if I'm living in America, some people in the chat already know this anyway, but if I could live in America, I'm absolutely buying a Ford Explorer as my car. It's not flashy, it's not crazy expensive, but it's a big American SUV that I really like the look of.
Would you have one of those garages also in a basement? I'm thinking about all your subterranean plans. You could also have one of those things where you drive your car onto a driveway and then it goes down and disappears into the ground.
No, because what I actually want is a Thunderbirds style garage.
Okay.
So if you
have to explain that, because I
also
really don't.
I don't know if you ever watched Thunderbirds or remember anything from it. So Thunderbird 2, the big green one, it was stored in a hangar that was behind massive. The wall was or the garage door was basically a lock.
Right.
And the lock would drop down. Would it drop down or come up? I think it went up. And then Thunderbird 2 would roll out. And that's basically what I would do. I'd literally want to build my garage into a lock. Just so I could do that.
Mm.
Just so when people come down my driveway, they're then greeted with a massive rock with a bit of the house over the top of it that overlooks the driveway. And they'd all be like, what the hell is this? And I'd be like, haha, watch. And I'd have my little remote switch in the car. And the big rock door would come up, and I'd just drive out in my SUV.
Mm.
Yeah. I might even have some speakers in the garage that plays the Thunderbirds theme when I do it, because why not?
Yeah. Why not, indeed?
I've got the money. You know, fuck responsibility.
Yeah.
Fuck sensibility at this point. I've got the cash.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I think having a hangar would be good.
Mm.
I don't know what.
Okay.
Just having your whole hangar.
So that's clearly a key thing that I missed out of what I'd spend money on.
Oh, here we go.
I would learn to fly.
Right.
And if I could afford it, I'd be like John Travolta and basically just have my own runway.
Mm-hmm.
If I could afford it.
That's a lot of money, though.
That is a lot of cash that I don't think I'll ever have.
Yeah.
But there are communities in America, and I don't know if they exist in the UK. I don't think they do, but I know they exist in America, where there's like communities of 50 houses or something that basically lines a runway, and they all own planes.
Yeah.
And they come in, they land on the runway, and then they turn off, and then they basically go and park outside their house.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Because they got stupid money.
Yeah.
Or they'll have a hangar out the back, and they'll park up and then push the plane into the hangar, and that's it. And you know what? That sounds incredible. I'd love that. Yeah, I'd absolutely love that. I think I'd need much more money than a lottery win to get that.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely, again, with disgusting amounts of money as a lottery win, I would absolutely learn to fly.
Yeah.
And get my pilot's license, and then get my instrument rating, and buy a King Air 350i, which is a twin prop plane, which I think has a maximum of 8 passenger seats. But has quite a long range on it. I think it's got like a 4,000 nautical mile range, which is pretty far for a small plane like that.
Is that the one that the Air Force have as a multi-engine trainer?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that is the one the RAF use, yeah. I think they use the older 350s. The newer 350i is obviously the new version of it. Full glass cockpit. But I think that's also the largest, certainly in the UK, maybe in the US as well, it's the largest you can go as a single pilot before you're then needing to have a co-pilot with you. Actually, no, I think a Cessna CRJ is CRJ 100, I think, is the largest, which is a jet engine, aircraft. But again, quite small, handful of passengers. But yeah, any bigger than that, you need a second pilot. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to do it on my own.
Yeah.
It'll be one of them where, it'll be, Wednesday afternoon, just after breakfast time. And I just go, I'm just going to go for a flight. And I'm going to go down, I'm going to drive down to the airport, find a flight plan, and be like, right, I'll see you. See you in a few hours. Bye. Or take the family out. I'll be like, right, where are we going this week? Or where are we going this weekend? Okay, let's jump in the plane and we'll fly down to Florida. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's go down to Venice Beach. Or let's go the other way. Let's go to Nevada. Go to Vegas. Or let's go to Arizona or somewhere. Let's just go somewhere. Why not? Let's and here's something I want to do. I want to go to there is an air show in Wisconsin, in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. Ruby is going to tell me what it is after she's Googled it, because I know that she knows. But it's a massive international air show.
Did you say Oshkosh?
Oshkosh, yeah.
There's a place called Oshkosh.
I think yes, it's a place called Oshkosh. Okay.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
Massive.
It sounds like the sort of place that Sean Connery should be talking about. Oshkosh.
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 But yeah, it's a massive international air show, and I'd literally
What
be
time
like,
are you going to be at Oshkosh?
finish. And I'd just be like, right, we're going to Oshkosh this weekend. So pack your bags, get in the plane, we're gone, and just fly up and go to the air show for the weekend. And then at the end of it, fly home again.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not, indeed?
Why not? I mean, I think to become a pilot, I'd need to lose a lot of weight because there's medical things you have to pass to.
Okay.
That'd probably be my only blocker.
Yeah.
Is my own guts.
Yeah.
So I'd have to lose that. But again, I've got time. I can build a
That's
gym.
not a bad thing.
EAA Air Ventures. There you go.
Okay. There we go.
Thanks, Ruby. Appreciate you.
What does EAA stand for?
Yeah, what does the AA stand for? But yeah, sorry, I really went off on one there. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
I think we lost a viewer because of it. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, it's that's absolutely what I'd want to do. I'd want to learn to fly and have, own my own plane.
You need the AAA? No, don't need the.
You need the AAA?
Do you need any cachet? Well, have you got any cachet?
You got any cachet? Oh, it looks like you need a horse, eh?
My name carries a little weight.
looks like you need a horse, eh? Jose Roberto.
Oh dear.
That's a great episode.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah, no, you know what, it would be quite nice to have a stately home. I have to say, something like that would be nice. Lots of outbuildings, one turned into a podcast studio, of course. But yeah, nice. Yeah, but it's the upkeep though. Again, not something you can do with a lottery win. It's too big.
It's one of them you'd have
Just
to
drain the money away.
Yeah, you'd have to be so good on the budget and almost guarantee that you could work smart enough and hard enough to make money back off the content creation stuff to, like I say, to basically pay for the upkeep.
Yeah.
Tough going. I mean, I'd love to do it. Like I say, I think building your own house or your own property, you just, especially in America, you just go buy land. Just buy some land. I think you can do it over here as well, but planning permission and shit is fucking some red tape nightmare.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure out there, as long as you're not doing anything too outlandish, they're generally okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of our American friends will correct me on that one. But as far as you can literally just buy land and just go, right, this is the house I want to build, and build whatever you want, and absolutely just build, like I say, a modest home.
With an airport attached.
That's
all you want.
Like me, family. Okay, let's have a 5-bedroom house. Five bed is enough. Couple of reception rooms, largish kitchen, dining room. Like I said, I'd love a double basement. Double basement would be great for home theatre and gaming space. But like I say, an outbuilding, if we were in that kind of position where you were close by and you'd be coming round for to record stuff or stream, absolutely, an outbuilding for a studio.
Absolutely. Next to the runway, just to make it easier to get there.
Exactly, yeah. I'll put a helipad on top so you can just come and land in and job done.
Yeah. What a way to live. So we know the EAA is Experimental Aircraft Association. What's the Experimental Aircraft Association?
It's an American thing, and I think
like Weird and Wonderful Aircraft was some description.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know too much about it. Oh, sorry, I haven't done too much research into it. But from what I understand from seeing videos online and such like that, it is literally that. There's some like experimental aircraft that get kind of displayed and shown off there. I don't know what kind. I'm guessing military. I don't think like you could build. It's not like Red Bull races. Where you could build an aircraft out of cardboard and sticky back plastic and call it an airplane, and take it to this air show and be like, look at me, and you're pedaling along and it's a cardboard flying off all over the place. Yeah. So, oh, we lost a wing. You know, I don't think that's how it works.
Mm.
But I've heard it's a really good air show, and I've seen some videos online, and I've spoken to people, and they said it is fantastic. It's a really good air show. I don't know what I guess our biggest one here in the UK would be what Riyadh at Fairford.
Mm-hmm.
Much bigger than that. Like, I mean, it's America, of course it is. Everything's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge.
That's what she said.
Yeah, 4 days, and it's just it looks incredible, and I really want to go. Don't worry, it wasn't lost on me. I heard. No, I'd really like to go, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it happen in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it happens in July. I think it's every July. I really want to go.
Mm.
I haven't been to an air show for many years, and actually now because I've heard about Oshkosh, I really want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
But Bex is suspiciously, what's the word? No, she's gone. I don't know where she is.
Gone.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Because she still hasn't answered our question.
No, I know. She's gone. And that's who we lost. That's probably who we lost when you were talking about whatever it was.
I bored Bex to death about talking about airplanes and what I would do if I won the lottery.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
How do you spell Oshkosh?
Oshkosh.
Kosh.
I think. I'm pretty sure if you put that in, it'll give you the right thing though.
Ah. Oshkosh. Oshkosh is a city and a county seat of Winnebago County, Wisconsin. So there we go.
Looks like a Winnebago with wings. That's a Spaceballs reference.
Right, okay. I take it then Winnebago County, is that where they make Winnebagos?
I assume that's probably where they were invented.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ruby will tell us all about that.
Yeah.
Being the only active member of chat. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let us know. It's good to learn. It's good to learn.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, EAA Air Venture Oshkosh, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Yeah, there's an aviation museum there. There's a flight research center there. Yeah, it looks really good.
Cool.
It looks like they do quite a few different things actually. And also shows off some foreign aircraft as well. I think I'm just looking at a thumbnail for a YouTube video. It looks like MiG 27, MiG 29. It's foreign either way. Might even be an SU something as well. But yeah, it looks like they've got loads of different stuff there. But yeah, it's massive, and I really want to go. Really want to go. When was it? Yeah, July 27th or July 24th, July 27th, something like that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 22nd to the 28th of July. That was this year's one. So, well, that tells you everything. That's nearly a week. Yes, that's 7 days, 6 days right there.
Mm.
Yeah, whereas Royal International Air Tattoo was what, a 3-day weekend.
Mm.
So
yeah, obviously much smaller.
yeah. Oh, Ruby's just come back saying the Winnebagos were made in Winnebago, Iowa, not Wisconsin.
Oh.
After Native Americans. Did Native Americans make Winnebagos?
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry.
There we go. Right, I'm going to stop looking at a map. Yeah. So there we go. There's your answer to whatever the question was. I've forgotten now. I lost the. Anyway, well, Yes, I think when it comes down to the lottery, first of all, I don't think I'm going to let anybody know that I won. So I'm probably going to be pretty modest when it comes to purchasing stuff.
You let me know,
So
right?
I'll let you know. But yeah, I think just a nice car, somewhere to live.
I mean, what kind of car would you? I mean, have you got an idea what car you'd want?
See, I would quite like an Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm. Do you
That sort of gives the game away, doesn't it? If you just
tell
turn up
me
with
you're
an
a
Aston
millionaire
Martin.
without telling me you're a millionaire.
Yeah,
Drive an Aston.
probably. Well, you see, the thing is, I play the long game.
Mhm.
I wouldn't get an Aston Martin first. I would get a
Daimler.
A Daimler.
Get yourself a 1950s Daimler. Why not?
Oh, yeah, why not?
I mean, you'll look like a 1950s bank robber, but.
Well, yeah.
But then you can say, I was a 1950s bank robber and now I drive an Aston Martin.
Well, the thing is, I'd get an older one. I don't mean like a classic one. I don't mean like, the classic, DB6 or anything like that. I get an older one, like 20 years old or something like that. Obviously have it, tuned up and working like an absolute dream. But technically, then I've got an Aston Martin, which you can buy for like 25 grand or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of slip under the radar that way. And then when it comes to changing the car, you got a slight upgrade, and then people don't kind of notice. They're like, "It's got a new Aston Martin. You had one before. Got one now."
Yeah, see, I'm not into things like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Astons look really nice. Even some of the modern ones, I think they do look really nice.
I feel like I probably spend most of my time driving around in a Land Rover Defender.
That's what I mean. If I was to stay in the UK, I think I'd rather go get myself a new Land Rover Defender. I mean, they're growing on me. Land Rover Defenders are growing on me. I'd either get one of those or a Discovery. I really like Land Rover. I like how they look. I've heard varying reports on reliability, but I'm a millionaire, whatever. I'll just trade it in for another one if that one's broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't see me in a supercar or anything like that, like a lot of people do. Like, I mean, even like an Aston Martin, I probably wouldn't drive an Aston. I wouldn't drive a Bentley. I'd keep it, relatively speaking, modest. Defender, Discovery. Like I said, I mean, hell, I like my car. I drive a Renault. I drive a Renault Capture. I love my car. It's really comfortable. It's got everything I want. Drives like a dream. It's lovely. I love it. But yeah, sure. Like you say, eventually though, I'm going to want to upgrade. So then I'll be like, well, I'll have a look at a Discovery. Or a Defender. I don't know. It depends what I'm feeling at the time. There was a time I wanted a Ford Ranger. I wanted a Ranger Raptor because I do like the look of them. But they're diesel guzzling monsters, and I just don't think they're really suitable in today's market anymore. Unless you have a commercial reason you need a pickup truck. I just don't think pickup trucks are the right thing in the UK anymore. They've kind of shot up, but now that diesels are bad again, I feel like they're coming back down.
Also, I think a lot of people had pickup trucks because there was a certain tax advantage to those, which is now being wiped out.
Yeah, so I say all the commercial tax advantage to a pickup truck is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a thing when I was looking at a Ranger Raptor a few years ago. Not that I could have afforded to buy one, but I was looking at them. It was if you bought the Wild Track, you got commercial tax on it, and it's all to do with the laden weight, the load capacity. Whereas the Raptor didn't have, or it had less than 1 ton load capacity, so it didn't qualify for the commercial tax rate. So you were basically paying through the nose on taxes, and I was like, and it kind of put me off for a bit actually. It really did. And like I said, I think I've just grown out of the idea of having a pickup truck. Now, if somebody gave me one, okay, thanks, appreciate it. As long as it's white with black trim, I'm good. You know, I'm just into white cars at the moment. My car is white with black trim. It's got a black roof, and I think it looks pretty cool. It probably isn't in most other people's eyes, but I think it looks cool. I like it. But yeah, when I look at other cars, I'm just like, they look really good in white. You know, and it's that kind of sporty-ish kind of thing. It's white, but all the trimming on it is black. Yeah, I like that.
It's still quite a relatively new thing, really, having white cars. Certainly here, in continental Europe, they had white cars for a long time because they realised that where it's warmer, it deflects the heat.
Yep.
Whereas we're like, no, let's have a convertible, and they're like, no, we don't have convertibles. You mad?
But you're mental.
Bake. Go around in a white Renault 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
I find convertibles in the UK very strange anyway, because our weather is so changeable that even if your weather report says it's going to be sunny all day, there's always a chance there's going to be a cloud that comes over and it rains on you.
Then you press a button and the roof goes on.
It's difficult when you're doing 70 up the motorway.
Do you know what? Having had a convertible, I never found it a problem.
No? Soft top wanker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soft top.
Yeah. Well, the last one I had was easier because it was all push button. But but before I had an MG, like a MGF thing, and again, that was quite a small roof. I mean, it was only a 2-seater.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had to sort of grab it and pull it.
I just imagine you're in the middle of a car chase and it starts raining, and you just say to your guy, just get the roof, and you're just speeding at 100 miles an hour down the motorway, get the roof, and they're like, I
don't know why it'd be in a car chase.
I don't know, it came to mind.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. Talking of car chases, though, if I won the lottery, or for that matter, you won the lottery, gave me a little cash, and set me up in Texas or something.
I know who my friends are.
I know exactly what one thing I would buy, which would probably be garage most of the time. I'd buy a General Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I'd
have to have one.
I mean, if I had such disgusting amounts of money that I just didn't know what to spend it on, I could see myself with a classic car, or sorry, a film and TV car collection. General Lee, Ecto 1, kit, insert other cars here. I would absolutely start a bit of a collection like that. But for no other reason than to say, look at my awesome car collection.
Yeah.
I'd get a Quattro, whatever the Audi Quattro is that guy had in Life on Mars. Life on Mars?
Yeah.
Fire up the Quattro.
Yeah, Gene Hunt.
Yeah, I'd get one of those. Excuse me. Sorry, dust in my throat. I'm trying to think what other kind of famous-ish cars. Yeah, Ecto 1 would definitely be on the list. With full lights and sirens from Ghostbusters. I'd absolutely have that. A DeLorean. Back to the Future.
Right, okay, yeah.
Dressed up as if it was from Back to the Future, though, with all the gubbins on the back. It wouldn't just be a flat DeLorean. It would be a fully kitted out one. I've sat in a DeLorean. They are not comfortable cars. You basically have to lay down in them because they're so low.
Right.
You can't sit up straight. You are literally like, leaning back. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially for a big fat guy like me. They weren't designed for tall, fat people.
Mm-hmm.
As many cars are not designed for tall, fat people.
Well, I mean, not many things were designed for fat people, particularly in
No.
what was it, 1985.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really. I mean, you didn't see fat people then. Not like you see
No,
them
not
now.
really.
Now they're very commonplace.
Mm.
I was driving past a bus stop today, and there was a very, very fat person. And I thought that would be this is how my mind works. And I thought she's very fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, actually, that's not that unusual. But
Not now, no.
But if you go back sort of 20, 30 years, that would have been very unusual. That would have been, crikey, what's happened to her?
Well, 20 years ago, you're talking, Michael Moore and his war on McDonald's, his war on fast food, because the world was getting bigger.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. Yeah, 30 years ago, it wasn't really that much of a thing. I mean, yeah, there were larger people around, but not as many as there are today. And I don't know, what do you want to blame for that?
Oh.
I blame myself for being fat.
I blame myself as well. I'm fat as it goes. But but we're now getting to like American level fat.
Okay.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just a little thought I had. I mean, nothing against that particular, bus connoisseur, but
bus wanker,
pie connoisseur. Yeah, it just made me think. It would be a double take in years gone by.
Mm.
And sometimes you see like videos and pictures and things from back in the day, like 50s, 60s, stuff like that.
Mm.
And you look at the photographs, and nobody's like that. Nobody's fat. You had the odd few, like Cyril Smith and people like that who had other issues anyway. But you did have a few characters, but by and large, you didn't see that, and it's a bit worrying.
I mean, it's definitely a strain on the health service.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
All right, let's not start on that then.
Cluster.
I don't even know how we got onto fat people. Things not being designed for tall fat people.
That was it.
Like the DeLorean.
Yeah.
The DeLorean would be in the collection as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of. I'd probably have now. If you have not seen the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, this will make zero sense to you. But Eleanor is definitely a car that I would have, which is I want to say a 1967 Ford Mustang.
Okay.
Mustang GT500.
Mm-hmm.
Silver with blue racing stripes. That is. I've been a fan of Mustangs for a long time. Even the weird phase during the 70s where it didn't really look like a Mustang.
Yeah.
I still kind of like them. They've just got a bit of character to them. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Mustangs, like I say, especially, and it sounds really cliche. It's absolutely a trope. But the 60s Mustangs and then anything from like 2006 onwards. The 2006 Mustang was basically like the Mustangs we know today was the modern day Mustang. That basic shape or design type started around 2006. Absolutely love that car. It just looks so nice.
It's never captured my imagination, and I think because I'm all about the Charger.
Yeah, so I know.
I think that's the thing. I'm all about the Charger, but yeah, definitely. Definitely. If the gods smile upon us,
Charger Hellcat for you then.
Yeah, or 1969 in orange, number one.
Yep. Ruby's come in. That's what Eleanor is. My dream car. Nice. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Again, I know who my friends are, so I know who I'm buying. A 1967 Mustang GT500 silver with blue racing stripes.
There you
I guess I need to buy 2 of them now.
go.
One for you, one for me. They can both live in the same garage, so I don't care. So yeah, but yeah, I'd absolutely have Eleanor in there from Gone in 60 Seconds. And like I say, there's.
So you've got Eleanor. Don't forget to buy me Robert.
Yeah, I'll buy you Robert. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yep. Old Robert Lee. Yep.
Mm.
There was one. So there was a Need for Speed movie. Not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the video game Need for Speed. That also had a silver Mustang in it. Again, it was a modern Mustang. I think that was I want to say a 16.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a bit earlier. But again, that's a nice car. They just look nice, and that's the thing. They are aesthetically pleasing to me. I don't care about performance. I don't care about taking them on a racetrack. I don't care about driving them fast, or even driving them at all. I think anything before, I think it was like 2015 or 2016. Anything before that had a live axle, and the handling was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But then they changed it to independent suspension, and the handling improved vastly on the Mustangs. But yeah, like I said, I'm not interested in really driving them at all. I'd like to just be able to walk into my garage and be like, look at my collection of cars. These are amazing. I'd literally be, the younger, fatter Chris Evans in all of this, and just be like, look at these cars. Although I wouldn't own any Ferraris. So that's the thing. I'm not into Ferrari. There's loads of people that are just like, oh, I'd buy a Ferrari California or whatever it's called. Or a Ferrari LaFerrari. No, don't give a shit. Don't care about that at all. Doesn't appeal.
The only one I would say is the one that Magnum had, but then that could be in the TV and film section, couldn't it? The what was I going to say about the Mustang films? There was Bullet.
Yep.
Bullet, that's a famous one with a Mustang in it. And you were talking about the Mustang where it had a little bit of a dodgy period where it looked. I mean, it looked quite. It looked a bit like a Ford Escort.
It really did.
But that reminded me of another car because the front of it. It was like it was a bit Ford Escorty, but it had like a slanted front, and that made me think of the British Escort Mark II custom RS custom.
Yep. RS Cosworth, mate. That's where it's at.
Forget the Cosworth for now.
Okay.
RS 2000. No, it was the Mark II Escort RS 2000 custom. That, as a child, that is what I wanted.
That was where it was at. Yeah.
That would have been cool, and that was also a TV car because that was used by Bodie and Doyle.
Yep.
In the Professionals. Now
Great
there's
show.
a car. Yeah.
Now, when I was learning to drive, my stepdad was really into going to like classic car shows and things like that, and I got dragged along, and I was kind of into it. I liked some of the cars he likes, like he's really into his Citroen 2CVs. I kind of like them. There's something about them that I kind of like. I wouldn't have minded owning one at some point and driving it. I don't think I'd want it now because Apple CarPlay is a thing. But we went to like some classic car show, and I saw a Mark II Escort, and I really, really wanted it.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to it, and the guy didn't want a lot of money for it.
Really?
It was before they became really classic.
Yeah.
Like before their value just for some reason just shot through the roof.
Yeah.
I really wanted it, and we couldn't afford it at the time, so we didn't get it. And I was nowhere near passing my test anyway, so it would have just kind of sat on the road doing nothing. And then some guy tried to sell me an Austin Allegro for 800 quid, which my stepdad told him to do one. And then there was a Ford Thunderbird that I saw, I really wanted as well. Basically, I was looking at all these cars going, I want that, I want that. I was basically making a shopping list for when I do win the lottery, I can just go and buy all these cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Escort RS Cosworth, RS Custom, I'm with you on that one. I like the RS Cosworth as well, but again, mainly just for the popularity and iconicness of the car.
Yeah.
But you can say that about anything. You know, I mean, like I say, I'm not into popular cars. I'm not into big, fast supercar type things. Like I say, I'll never buy a Lamborghini except a Lamborghini Diablo.
It's just not very functional, are they? I mean,
No.
it's all cramped and horrible. And I drove a Sierra Cosworth once.
Yeah.
See, that's it. You've got proper proportions for a car. But my God, it was fast.
Yep.
Like, thanks very much for your driving license. You won't be seeing that again.
Yeah.
Kind of fast.
See, maybe that's what it is, and maybe that's where I just think to myself, I'm really not into buying a super fast car because I'll either kill myself or I will lose my driving license faster than I earned it. And it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I think, well, unless I'm taking it to a racetrack, and okay, maybe that might be a thing if I am, a lottery winner and I can afford a fast car to drive on a racetrack. I just think, legally, I cannot drive a car faster than 70 miles an hour in the UK. I would not be able to drive a car faster than 75 miles an hour in the United States.
Yeah.
So why own a car that can do 250 miles an hour? What's the point?
It's how quickly you get to 70.
Again, I don't care about that. I don't need my brain smashed against the back of my skull, thanks. I'm not into that. But yeah, anyway, so yeah. But yeah, there were many cars that I'd probably think of as time went on to add to the collection.
There's a lot of cars now that I think, God, when you particularly if you see them advertised, and those classics. To think they were around all over the place. See these all over the shop, and they were really cheap at one time. And it's really sad because I think, oh God, I should have bought one of those.
Yeah, right.
Should have kept it in a garage and dry stored it and all that sort of thing. But yeah, just simple things like Escorts and. Do you know what? I was between cars, and there was a car not that far away that was up for it wasn't much. It was like 600 quid or something. And it was a Fiesta, but it was exactly the same year Fiesta. In fact, I think it was probably the same year that I learned to drive in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was very sorely tempted to buy it. I thought, yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
And also, it's something I could work on it. If something went wrong, I could do something about it. I could do anything with a modern car. I wouldn't have a clue. Mostly,
yeah,
because you've got to plug something in and do diagnostics for 45 quid plus VAT or something.
Yeah, right. I think that's a pain point for a lot of drivers, especially. So I'm not calling you old, but some older generations who enjoyed working on their own car. It's just you just can't do that now. Unless you own thousands of pounds worth of diagnostic equipment and specialized tools. There's another thing. So that was something somebody told me about owning a modern Citroen. Was unless you own specialized tools, you can't do anything with it. All the sockets are weird sizes, and it's just, you're like, what? Why? What's the point? And it's to make you go to the garage, make you go spend money with the garage, which is stupid in my eyes. Well, why is that a thing? Why is that even a thing? Who knows? So yeah, there's that. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, modern cars are just not designed to be worked on at home anymore.
No,
they're just not. Even doing a service. Sure, you know what? I can do a service on my car if I want. What I can't do is reset the service counter. So I'll be driving with a freaking service light on, for God knows how long. So it's like, I've got to take it to a garage to get it done. And to be honest, I'm a bit of a slob when it comes to that anyway. I'm like, nope, I'll just take it to the manufacturer. If anything goes wrong, I can take it back to them and say, you broke it, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Whereas if I break it, that's kind of my fault.
Yeah.
But again, I've most definitely fallen victim as a millennial into the society of, well, there are other people to do that for me, and I just pay them a bit of money.
So sometimes it is just easier. I did on my last car. I was doing I did the brakes. The problem is I ended up having to do the change all the calipers as well,
Yeah.
which then gets really complicated because then you disconnecting the brake pipes and all sorts.
Yep.
Yeah,
Draining
so
the fluid
that was a hell
and-
of a job. Yeah. Plus, it was a Saab, so nothing's quite normal when it comes to Saab, particularly parts, because the parts are like made by General Motors.
Yeah.
So some were like a bit more Saaby and some were a bit more Vauxhall-y.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a little bit of a nightmare, and they use different parts on different. So just because you've got a particular model, it doesn't mean that, like, you could have two models exactly the same with some different parts.
Yeah.
Particularly when it came to the wheels and brakes.
Yep.
So that doesn't help.
No, it does not.
No, and I swore then I'm never going to do brakes myself again.
Well,
And
that's
then
it.
I've since done brakes myself, but
Yeah.
it's not a hard job if you know what you're doing.
I was going to say there's something in doing it yourself if you know what you're doing, and I know I've got friends who will happily go and do it themselves, and I'm just like, I am not experienced, and I am not confident enough or patient enough to read a manual to then try and do it myself, because I would be terrified that I would do something wrong. I would try to brake, apply the brakes, and nothing would happen.
Yeah,
and I'd die. It's just, I'm not into that.
I've never had that happen yet.
No, like I said, that's an extreme
Obviously.
case. It's an extreme case, but that's where my mind goes with it when I think about doing my own repair work to cars. And the thing is, I know, but they were like, I am very confident of doing that with my computer. If I need to change the brake pads on my computer, I'm just kidding. If I need to change or fix anything on my computer, I know what I'm doing, and I'm confident, and I know I can do it correctly. But I'm sure there were people out there who would look at their computer, knowing there's something wrong with it, and just being like, I don't know what to do with this. I am not going to try because I'm likely to break something. And they'll take it to a specialist. And that's where I am with cars. I'd rather take it to someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's because you need specialists. I remember when when I was young, my dad would, could work on the car. He'd work on his dad's car. I remember, like, having uncles and things, and they were changing a what do you call it, the starter motor on his car and stuff like that. You just think, well, people just don't do that sort of thing anymore. Some people do. Some people have the skills, but most people don't. They just pay for absolutely everything monthly, throw things away.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a crying shame of life right now. Is everything is just so disposable.
Yeah.
No one wants to fix anything or make anything last. I mean, I hold my hands up and say I absolutely fall into this camp in some capacity. There are some things I'm just like, I'm just going to go buy a new one. It's just easier. And that's it, because it's all about convenience. Printers, not wanting to dive too deeply into computing or anything like that, but printers are the absolute classic example of this. It is cheaper for you to go buy a new printer than it is to buy ink cartridges sometimes.
Yeah.
Not that is the acceptable way to do anything, because you don't get as much ink in a new printer as you would if you just bought.
No, you get like a sample amount.
Yeah, you get like a 50-page sample. But at the same time, I scratch my head. Well, actually, no. HP are really good at not doing that anymore. What they actually do is they force you into a subscription to pay for the ink, which I've now cancelled, because I'm like, screw giving you guys £1.50 a month for the privilege of being able to print up to 10 pages a month. Fuck off. Not paying 15p per page. You can all piss off. And I went and found the cheapest genuine HP cartridges I could find, which was still cheaper than buying a new printer. But now I'm also not tied into a subscription, and as long as I print something every so often, which I do, that it's going to last for quite a while, and the value will I'm going to make money. I'm going to save money out of it in the long run. But yeah,
I don't use a printer anymore. I've got a printer, but I haven't got the ink for it. And when do I don't really need to print anything else. And if it was working, I know I would print things off because I prefer things on a printed page. So I know if I've got something to read, I'm like, oh, I'll just print it off. Then I'll read it.
I'm really bad for, depending on what it is, for printing off contracts at work. So like, I have contracts with managed service partners. I have contracts with other suppliers. Things like this. It's that I don't like reading things on a screen. I would much rather have it printed where I can kind of thumb through it and mark up and write notes, and I'd much rather do that, and that's what I do. And I do print things out every now and again. I'm like you, and it also means that if I've got time or if I want to, I can just walk away from my desk and take it downstairs and make a cup of coffee and sit in the kitchen and read it if I want to. And I'm not bound to my computer, and I'm not then distracted by an email. I'm not distracted by someone calling me on Teams. I'm just like, nope, I am here reading this contract. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I much prefer that.
Yeah, I should probably do that more at work. If there's something I need to read, I'll just grab. Print it off, because it's really easy to do anyway. Print it off, get a pen, and go and go to sort of a breakout area.
Yep. Grab your red pen.
Yeah.
And start circling and noting. Yeah. That's what you do. I mean, that's what I do. Old school.
I'll do that, and then nip out into the car park and change the tire.
Yeah. Because why not?
Why not?
Then I also take my little stack of mini post-its. And I start marking pages. Again, if it's important information, especially if I'm preparing for a meeting, so I'm doing some contract negotiation stuff at work at the moment, and there's a string of meetings happening, and what I've got is the current contract, where I've marked up bits, and then I've stuck a little post-it note with a very small description on what it is. So while we're going through that, I can go, oh, actually, if you can flick over to page whatever, it says this, but I want to discuss around that or change whatever it is. It just makes the whole thing a lot smoother for me, rather than doing it all electronically. And I mean, someone can have it on have the contract on the screen if they want. I don't care. But for me and my eyes, and my eyes are bad anyway, I'd much rather look at some paper.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. It's not environmentally friendly. But
screw that. It's made of wood. I mean, wood's sustainable. You just build it. You just grow another tree, don't you?
Build another tree.
Yeah, build a tree out of paper.
Yeah, build a tree out of recycled toilet paper. Yep,
yeah,
that's what happens. Yeah. Bex has been in the chat. Welcome back, Bex. Same with cars. It shocks me how easily insurance companies write off cars. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the details and stuff about insurance, but when it comes to cars, someone told me once that if you're in a collision in a car, and any of the airbags are deployed, they will immediately write it off. It is not worth repairing, even if it's brand new. Because the amount of money it takes to disassemble, repair, or replace the parts for the airbag, because you need to hire in an explosives expert or something like that.
Right. Okay.
And then reassemble said car in a safe manner costs more money than it does to just buy a new car. I'm pretty sure that doesn't apply for brand new cars, because that seems incredibly wasteful. But then again, it might be the case.
Yeah, I think they probably would write them off anyway, because I mean, apart from anything else, if your airbags are all deployed, or certainly the ones on the dash will. Yeah, I mean, that's the dash completely ruined.
Oh yeah, it's a full.
The whole thing needs replacing,
and chances are you've crushed the entire front end of your car.
You've done your front end.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so it would write your car off. So that kind of makes sense. And I know that some people will, pick them up afterwards and do repairs and stuff. Quite a few people on YouTube actually do those. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there are
Well, they exist.
there are people out there.
I
Yeah.
saw a guy on YouTube who he wasn't buying like crashed cars. He wasn't buying write-offs, but he was doing like a trade up type thing. He started off with like some old banger. Again, just kind of fixed it up, cleaned it. I think what he literally does is he buys these cars, knowing that they work, but they're just dirty. He buys them off someone for a few £100, and all he does is clean it. But he'll like fully wash out the engine bay. He'll clean and polish and maybe repair any paintwork that's there. But he'll literally take everything out from the inside. He'll take the chairs out and he'll just deep clean it, put it all back together so it looks pretty much brand new, and we'll sell it for profit because it's clean. And it's amazing how actually cleaning your car makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, if I'm buying a car off of someone rather than a dealership or something, if it's dirty, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what's there.
Yeah.
What's rotting under the carpet is what I want to know. If you can't be bothered to clean your car, I'm not interested. Thanks.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more confidence if it's a clean car.
Yeah, it gives you the impression they actually look after it.
Well, yeah.
They service it, they maintain it, because they take the time to clean it. And I think that's why I try to keep my car quite clean, because it's that I want, cause I do maintain it, but I also want people to see that I maintain it and I actually look after it and I'm proud of it. And I was talking to somebody about it the other day. It's like, when we were in the organisation, it's like some of the lessons that I learned from the organisation was how to look after things.
Yeah.
You polish your shoes. Guess what? When you clean and polish your shoes, they last a lot longer. When you wash and iron your clothes in the correct fashion, according to the instructions, they last a lot longer. It's little things like that. And I think the same applies to cars. And I genuinely think, and I'm probably wrong, but it's just how my mind works. I'm like, because I look after my car looks after me. There was a point, right, where what car was it? It might have been the Astra that I had as a company car, the black Astra that I had. When it got dirty, it really sometimes felt like it was really sluggish. And then I'd go to get it cleaned, and it would feel like a different car.
Oh, yeah. It makes a difference.
Whether that was just my perception because the car is now clean, I don't know. But it felt different.
Cars definitely feel like they run better when they're clean.
It was weird. But I get that from my car as well now. It's like, okay, I mean, I've done a couple of long drives up to Scotland and back, and it's gotten a bit grubby because, well, roads. And I've kind of got it back, and I'm like, you just feel a bit, And I've taken it to get cleaned, or I've cleaned it myself, and I'm like, it just feels different. It feels much better. And it's like, and again, it's that, maybe it's just my perception, but I'm just like, I'm looking after the car. Now the car feels better, and it is looking after me. The car is giving me a more pleasurable experience of driving. And I don't run my cars ragged. I don't boot it anywhere. I don't, hard accelerate anywhere. I don't slam on brakes. And I just feel like they last longer.
Yeah.
And touch wood. Avenue wood, yeah, there we go. I feel that cars do good for me, or I rarely have an issue with a car because I look after them. I didn't look after my Fiat Punto, and it broke.
Yeah.
I didn't look after my Fiat Cinquecento, my first car, and it broke. I booted that Cinquecento around. I was fresh to driving. It was my first car. I was like, I want to go as fast as I can. I'm, tearing up the road in second gear, going as hard as I can and shifting straight from second to fourth because I thought it was cool. And lo and behold, the synchromesh in the gearbox broke. And it wouldn't stay in gear. So I had to buy another car. It's things like that. And I'm just like, I feel like now I drive cars a bit more sensibly, and I feel like they look after me now as well.
My first car was a Fiesta Mark 1.
Yeah.
And it was, that was run pretty ragged. It was only 1 litre, but I sort of drove it around like it was a rally car, to the point where I actually bent the push rods.
Right.
But got it fixed. Because you could do that.
You could do it back then,
Yeah. I couldn't do that. I'm not going into an engine. I'll do things around an engine. And you could do things around an engine because there was room in the engine bay.
you had room for it.
Yeah. You can barely get your finger in now. That's what she said.
Yeah. My Fiat Cinquecento, the cable between the engine and the dashboard for the speedo broke.
Right.
Like just snapped, just gone. Back then, we had scrapyards. And I could go to my local scrapyard, find a Fiat Cinquecento, and take the speedo cable out.
Yeah.
And back then, they didn't give a shit if you did it yourself.
Yeah.
They didn't give a crap if you were climbing up 3 stories of cars to get into the engine bay of the one car that you want just to pull out a cable that you're looking for.
Yeah.
They didn't give a crap, and that was fun. I enjoyed that. And that I replaced myself. And then it broke again, and then I had to go back and find another Fiat Cinquecento to steal that cable and put that one in. And then that one stayed. That was good. That was no problem. But then that one, because I was booting it so hard in that car, the synchromesh in the transmission just wiped out, gone, disappeared. So the car wouldn't stay in gear. So like, I think, what was I doing? I was going down the A64 from Scarborough to Leeds. I was going to the Leeds Armoury at that point. And I'm in 5th gear, cruising down the thing, and it just suddenly popped out of gear. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And my girlfriend at the time was with me. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, the car's just being weird. So I put it back into gear. And a couple of minutes later, popped out of gear again. So so now I'm driving, holding this thing in 5th gear, praying that it doesn't come out. And it was kind of at that point I went, I need a new car. This thing's knackered. Because I did look into it, and the value of the car was not worth the amount of money it would have cost me to get a new transmission.
Yeah.
So I got rid of it. I traded it in for my Fiat Punto. I did not tell the guy that it had a synchromesh problem in the transmission, and I got 200 quid for it. Yeah, 200 quid I got for it. And then, like I said, I got my Fiat Punto. And then with that one, I didn't treat it right. I did all the things I was supposed to do, check all the oil and water before going on a long journey and all that stuff. But I forgot to put the cap back on the water thing. So we got a few miles down the road, and I blew up the engine.
Yeah.
Because there was no cooling. Next thing I know, there's just steam pouring out, the engine management lights on, everything's on. I'm just like, oh, crap, this is not what I need. So then we got it recovered at home, then got it into a garage, and they basically went, yeah, you've knackered your cylinder head. It's not just warped, it is cracked, and you need a new one. Looking at how much that was going to cost, I went, I'm going to go buy a new car. Thanks. So I traded that in for the Astra. And that's when I got my first Astra.
That's the sort of thing that's happened to me a lot. I've said my goodbyes to a lot of cars that have just become too expensive to fix. That one more time,
Yeah.
Head gaskets are one thing. Yeah, that's always a bad sign.
The guy said to me, he went, if you'd just blown the gasket and maybe warped the head, it would have been recoverable. He said, because you cracked it, it's knackered. You need a new head. And I think he quoted me like £700 just for a new head. Yeah. New cylinder head. I was like, Jesus. Like, no, thanks. Car's not worth that much. Thanks.
I think my worst one was probably Land Rover Discovery, the last one that I had, because I think it was a head gasket or something. Got it all fixed. Cost an absolute fortune. And then I don't know how it wasn't that long later, and then it was basically the engine's the best bit, because there was so much welding that needed doing on the back end. It was just everything else was wrong with it, which was a shame because the engine was so good.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to keep the engine and put it in something else. Yeah.
I'll say you're almost trying to go, well, I'll sell the engine to someone and then I'll just scrap the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get the money for the scrap.
Mm.
Ruby's been in the chat. We still have junkyards here, and they get so much business because it's cheaper to fix things yourself, especially with used parts. And that's it. And I think in America, Midwest or in that kind of central belt, I think a lot of people still drive older vehicles because of how easy they are to repair. And especially with the junkyards, and like you say, it's a make do and mend culture. Whereas I feel like over here, with modern cars, and we went through the whole scrappage scheme thing, which forced a lot of people to, or not forced, but encouraged a lot of people to get rid of their old cars in favour of buying a newer car. And now we're in a position where people can't fix their own cars.
No, that was ridiculous. The scrappage scheme.
Fucking con.
Like all those perfectly good cars being thrown away and scrapped. Like it wasn't. This is the thing that gets me when it comes to people saying, "Oh, I want a more eco-friendly car, so I'll sell the car that I've got at the moment and buy another car." So all the what do you call it? All the emissions and things that are created in making a car, which, by the way, is more than the car's ever going to create whilst it's on the road. I'm going to get another car made with lots of emissions in the process of making it, and drive that around, and it's going to be green. Meanwhile, the car that I had before, I've sold to somebody else who's going to drive it around, so it's still on the road. What the hell is the point of that?
Exactly. What was the point?
Yeah.
It was a scheme by the government to encourage people to spend money to boost the economy. That was literally it.
Any time that a government has an idea, it should be immediately forgotten about. Forget it.
It's literally,
any idea that they have is nonsense.
It is literally Charlie from the Italian Job, isn't it? Wait a minute, lads. I've got an idea.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe don't do anything.
Yeah, maybe just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the reason we lost.
Do you know what?
That's
That's the answer, right? Next time around, what we do is get a government whose the promise is we're going to do nothing for 5 years.
Yeah.
And if they just did nothing, everything would repair. Because the more they do, the worse everybody is off. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Kind of with you there, but government.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
So scrappage scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, scrappage scheme was. I think that was quite detrimental. Okay, it was there to boost the economy, and it had a positive effect on the economy, but at the same time, it meant that there was no, suddenly all this, repair yourself culture just disappeared overnight. And scrapyards disappeared overnight. I mean, literally, I remember, it must have been somewhere before 2010.
Yeah.
My local scrapyard just disappeared. Just gone. That was it. Closed. No more cars, no nothing. And I was like, oh, well, good job. I don't need to buy any parts or get any parts for my car. Which wasn't useful when the alternator went. The alternator broke on my car, which meant I was coming down the motorway. No, well, I wasn't coming down the motorway. I was doing something, and the car just suddenly lost power. Yeah, and I had to get recovered. That wasn't fun. And that cost me £500 for a reconditioned alternator, which I got done under warranty anyway. I had a warranty on the car. But again, it was just that, but it's an alternator.
Yeah.
You know, I should have been able to just go down the scrapyard and grab an alternator from any other Vauxhall and put it into my car. That's what I should have been able to do. But no, I couldn't do that. Because of the scrappage scheme, you can't repair shit yourself anymore. So yeah, but we don't have that culture anymore of repairing your own cars.
Yeah, I mean, whereas, I mean, I've been to Cuba, and you know, they've still got cars from the 50s, you know, pre-revolution ones that they've got from the States, and they just keep them on the road. They keep them going.
Yeah, oh, they're driving around in Beetles and old Mercedes and all these wicked classic cars that would be classics in the UK.
Yeah,
You know, and would be subject to tax exemptions and all sorts of stuff because they're classics. Yeah, they're like you say, they just make do and mend, and they keep fixing them.
Yeah,
they keep fixing them up. It's like I love watching these videos on YouTube and that. You know, the satisfying whatever. It's all like that ASMR stuff.
all right.
And it's some guy who's repairing an alternator for a truck. And he's like literally just pulling it apart, and he's pulling out all the little individual bits of metal, and he's reshaping or brushing them down, reshaping them, putting them all back in, and you know that's what they do. That's what you should do. You know, don't just go to the manufacturer and buy a new one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's the culture we're in. Just buy a new one. Your phone breaks, so I'll just go buy a new one.
Yeah, and then you end up with waste.
Well, that's it. It's just waste,
and that's not good for the environment.
Nope.
Got a load of old, whatever you said. What was it? Alternator?
Alternator, yeah.
Yeah, you got an old alternator. What are you going to do? Bury it?
Well, it gets disassembled and recycled, doesn't it? That's,
well, it may do. Or it may just get buried.
Or it just gets buried in landfill.
Yeah.
There was what was I watching? There was something about that. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, that's right. There was something passed in the US or the Americas about the right to repair. Where basically anyone should have the right to repair their own stuff. So like when you buy something, it'd have like a little sticker on that says warranty void if removed.
Right.
Apparently they're not legal anymore. Or let's say not legal, but like that it's not a legal defense for a manufacturer to say we can't repair it because you tried to repair it yourself. That's not allowed anymore. I don't know if that affects us over here. But it's little things like that. It's you know, we should have the right and capability to repair anything. I think we have the right, but what we don't really have is the capability. You know, the tools are not readily available for us, or in some cases, the tools are more expensive to buy than it is to just take it to a service center and have them do it. Which I think is the biggest con.
Yeah.
You know, when manufacturers provide specific, or say you need specific tools to do a specific job, you know, it's like, doesn't feel right to me. You know, Bex has been back in the chat.
Yeah.
Have a read. Let me know what you think.
A super scary experience to be a passenger in a car like that in Cuba, though. I went in one that didn't even have a working speedometer.
I drove a car for 2 weeks without a working speedo. Going back to my Fiat Cinquecento, that didn't have a working speedo for a little while until I could get a cable to fix it.
Now, these days, there's a solution. If your speedo stops working, there are many apps, and you can have an app that will tell you how fast you go.
Yep, exactly that. Yeah,
problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah,
I remember. Going back to the barge thing for the lost race. So my stepdad's 71st birthday, we took him out on a barge for a day. And I remember sitting there and we're all chatting away. He's driving. He's happy as Larry, you know, driving this barge or piloting the barge, however you want to describe it. And I've got an app on my phone, the speedometer app. And I'm like, we are doing a whopping 4 miles per hour. Yeah, the speed.
Power.
That's it, power. Well, so he let me drive it for a little bit, which was cool. Never driven a barge before. That was really cool. And we were at like 50% on the throttle lever. And I'm like, I just go, well, what will happen if I put it to kind of full power? And he's like, well, you shouldn't do that to any engine. I'm like, no, I get that. I'm just curious to know how fast this thing would actually go. 6 miles per hour.
Wow.
On full power. But that's what he was like. But that's not the point of driving a barge. It should be a relaxing experience. We're not racing here. Could you imagine that barge racing? I'm pretty sure barge racing exists somewhere. It must do. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So I throttled it back to 50%. Again, I don't want to, but it's not my barge. It's not his barge. I didn't want to burn the engine out or anything like that. Not that I think you would. But I was like, no, we'll just throttle it back, and we're just poodling down the canal. It was good fun. But yeah. And then
I don't know what the speed limit is. It's 5. It's probably 5 or something, isn't it?
it's something like that. Yeah, it's not fast at all. But I don't know. I didn't read the paperwork. I just signed it.
Yeah.
Because who reads paperwork? Not me.
No.
I'll deal with it afterwards.
Yeah.
And just say sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry for speeding at 6 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't rag it around like James Bond would.
Right.
And like a speedboat. Hey, that's one of them car boats or boat cars or whatever.
Boat car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good though. I enjoyed being on the barge.
Mm.
Barge was fun.
Mm.
That's what made me think I wouldn't mind owning a barge.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to live on a barge.
I don't know. I've always had this sort of fear. Well, no, I've not always had this fear. I mean, it's like saying it keeps me up awake at night. But I don't like the idea of, or I haven't liked the idea of sleeping on a boat. Just because once I'm asleep, eventually, I'm quite a deep sleeper, and I don't want to be deep underwater sleeper. So I worry that I'm going to be asleep and then the boat sinks. And then,
okay.
And then it all gets a little bit awkward.
I'm pretty sure. Go on, sorry.
You're okay. But then I was then led to believe that actually canals aren't that deep.
Nope.
So less of a problem.
So I'm pretty sure that if a barge sprung a leak, it would hit the bottom of the canal before you personally were underwater.
Yeah.
Because they are not deep at all. So my niece had to wear a life vest.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else did. Because actually they are literally like, chest deep. They're not deep at all.
Yeah.
Obviously chest deep is, subjective depending on the person. But yeah, they're not deep at all. You could step into a canal and be perfectly fine. The bigger danger is the silt and the sediment on the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, bicycles and shopping carts, shopping trolleys. But yeah, I'm led to believe that if a barge did sink for whatever reason, it wouldn't actually be that big a deal. Apart from the fact that you just have a sunken barge and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, it would get wet inside, but you wouldn't. It's not the Titanic.
She said.
It's not the Titanic. The whole thing is not going to be submerged. You would be able to get out without any problems. It would hit the bottom before you were fully underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the tops of the doors are at the top of the upstairs bit. So it's yeah. So I'm sort of coming around to it. I could possibly sleep on a barge.
See, that's it. I don't know if I want to sleep on a barge. I mean, I know it's not like on the ocean. You're not going to be rocking around or anything like that. I'm just more worried about getting cold. Because they're not well insulated. They don't have double glazing.
You could get double glazing.
I guess you probably could.
And the thing is, they're quite compact. So if you've got heating, it'll heat up nicely and
Yeah.
stay cozy, I suppose.
I mean, they're
And
definitely.
you can have little log what do you call them? Wood burners.
Yeah, a little stove. Yeah,
Yeah.
wood burning stove.
Mm.
I'm dubious about burning anything on a barge. I'll be honest with you, because they're generally made of wood.
Yeah.
So I'd be dubious about burning anything. But
Well,
absolutely having
fire
like
is always a big issue when it comes to sailing.
True.
But it's only a barge. Yeah.
Yeah. But absolutely. I mean, and actually, in terms of like energy cost and consumption, they're cheap. They're cheap to run. They're cheap to live in. And if you're happy with that kind of life, of kind of being a bit disconnected and what have you, perfect. I mean, again, if I'm in a position where I'm seriously considering living on a barge, I'm also then considering buying Starlink for my internet. I'm also putting solar panels on the roof to provide electricity, and I'll know the nearest and cheapest supplier of gas bottles for the stove and for the fire, because yes, heat, please. I am interested in it. It feels quite romantic to be that kind of guy that lives on a barge. The bit I'm worried about with all of it though is it's hygiene. Where do I shoot? You don't have showers on barges.
Yeah, you do.
You do? What? Where?
Yeah, you can have showers on barges.
All right. Well, maybe I knew. Okay. Well, maybe I will live on a barge then.
Sorted.
Yeah. As long as I can wash myself in the morning, have a half decent night's sleep, but have sufficient power to, run my Starlink and run my laptop, for work or whatever. Yeah, I'll live on a barge. Okay.
Well, people live in the back of vans now, and they have showers and all sorts.
Van life, yeah. I've heard about this. I haven't seen much about it, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. The benefit of having a barge, of course, is that I would have to have a captain's hat. Got to have the hat.
Do you remember?
Yes,
when we went to Chatham Historic Dockyard?
Yes, I remember. That's absolutely just all flooded back to me again.
And I found the captain's hat in the gift shop, and you took a photo and stuck it on Facebook and called me Captain Japsai. Oh, that's good. I actually found that picture earlier on. I was showing a friend some photos on Facebook. I was officially in a meeting at work. I was in a meeting, but we kind of tailed off the business side and just had a few minutes to spare. So we were talking about some stuff, and I ended up pulling up Facebook and showing some photos for Facebook, and that one came up, and she was like, "What the hell is that?" And I told her the story, and she wet herself laughing. Yeah, it's good. I do not own that captain. Did I even buy that? I think I did.
Did you?
I think I did.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think I did. I think I at that point I was younger and stupider, and I wanted a thing for the camp, and I was like, I'll just be the guy that wears a crappy captain's hat from a gift shop. Yeah, it didn't last long. I binned it. But yes, absolutely. If I lived on a barge, I would absolutely be dressed as a pirate 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Tricorn hat and everything.
Oh. Oh, now we're talking.
Tricorn hat, eye patch. I won't cut off a leg just to glue a wooden one on. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd get the big, the long coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old great coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really great coat. It's more trench coat, but
it's more.
I don't know what it's called. It's got a proper name. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I'd absolutely have a jack staff on the back as well, with the pirates flying on it. But when I'm feeling adventurous, most of the time I'd probably just fly the Union Jack. Yes, absolutely, Ruby. I would have a parrot too.
Well, you got to have a parrot.
Yeah, absolutely would have a parrot.
Yeah. Oh, and the red ensign as well as the pirate side.
Okay. Not just a Jolly Roger. Skull and crossbones.
Oh, there's going to be a Jolly Roger on the boat, I'm sure, at some point.
Roger the cabin boy. and Master Bates.
Mm.
Captain Pugwash. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's something there. If I do win the lottery, maybe I will buy a barge.
Mm.
Barge life.
Yeah. Well, if you do win the lottery, you buy you're gonna have to buy me a barge as well.
Mm.
Then we can do barge racing
That's not what I was thinking.
at no more than 5 miles an hour.
See, I was
Dressed
thinking
as pirates.
I was thinking we'd sit there and coordinate some kind of, epic canal battle.
Yeah.
Fire off a broadside as we pass each other
Yeah.
on the canal at 5 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I could see myself doing that.
Cannons.
Mm. Just like
Yeah.
fire out confetti, though, biodegradable confetti. Let's be environmentally conscious, because when it goes in the water, the authorities might not be happy with us. But if we sort of go, no, it's all right, it's all water soluble, it'll just dissolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
No, that's it. That would be a really good idea.
Mm.
You can be dressed as a pirate. I'll be dressed as Captain Bligh. And we'll sail around.
Yeah.
And do we'll do a series on YouTube of us sailing around from, well, not sailing but boating up and down different canals in the UK.
I think I mentioned this before on the show. There's a guy I was watching on YouTube who does the magnet fishing. Literally lives in the back of a van, and he goes around all over the world doing magnet fishing, and then he literally works in the back of his van editing videos and posting it to YouTube. We would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Just be on a barge, literally like barge life.
Yeah.
Like I say, we could set up some funny things like, crappy barge races, or a bit of a anticlimactic canal battle.
And also food. Stop at the pubs on the canals.
Hell yeah.
And go in and have a ploughman's lunch and all that sort of thing. Bex has been in the chat and said new podcast idea. So there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, we've got one listener.
Bex, I'm still waiting to hear what you do if you won the lottery.
Yes, tell us what you'd do if you won the lottery.
Yeah.
Apart from buying 2 barges.
Donating them to us
for the Tuesday show. See it as an investment. Hey, if you're watching and you are of any importance in Netflix or any such streaming or television production company, we would like a bit of cash stumped up for a couple of barges, a few hats, and we'll go out and make some fantastic programming for you.
Hey, you know that show that Ewan McGregor does on a motorcycle?
Oh yeah,
with Charlie Borman.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Long way down, long way round, whatever it is. Well, they basically travel the world on motorcycles. That's us on the barges.
Yeah.
We will do the same thing. We'll, might have to just stick to England.
It'll be a bit slower, but it will be.
It'll be entertaining.
It would be entertaining.
It would be like a cross between
to us, perhaps only.
Yeah, it would be a cross between Long Way Round / Long Way Down, or whatever, Long Way Up, or whatever show they're on now, and Top Gear.
Yeah.
We would both be Captain Slow.
Yeah.
Literally.
We could call it 2 twats on boats. Bex says, no barges for me. What? Oh, right, if she won the lottery. No barges for me. I went on a canal trip at school and threw up the entire time.
Why? There's no chop on a canal.
Yeah, you can't be seasick on a canal.
There is literally no reason to be seasick on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to downplay or
your traumatic lived experience.
Yeah,
however,
but it's a barge, man. It's not like you're out on the Indian Ocean. I mean, come on. It's not like you're going through turbulence on a flight to Australia. You're on a barge.
Yeah.
In the calmest waters ever. And actually, if the weather's that bad, you just moor up. You don't do anything because you're going to get wet. And barge people don't want to get wet. That's why they're on a barge and not a sailing boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go on a barge, but you still haven't said what you would spend your lottery winnings on. As I say, 2 barges so that we can travel the waterways.
It's an investment in your entertainment future, Bex.
It is indeed.
That's all I'm saying.
Also, it means that we can do it, so you don't have to. Yeah.
And I'd absolutely bring my American girlfriend over, and we'd fly the US flag off the back of the boat.
Off the back of a boat, okay.
Because why not?
What? Well, yeah, absolutely. Can't think of any particular reason why not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say, just because I'm on a barge, I mean, okay, people don't fly flags on barges. It's overkill. I just do it because I want to.
I would, definitely.
I would absolutely fly my Union Jack just because I want to. I'd literally put a flagpole on my barge because I can.
It should be the red ensign.
I mean, yeah, okay, fine. It should be the red ensign. But I don't care about that. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I'll fly the Union Jack. I'll fly it, the Star Spangled Banner. Hell, I'll fly a Jolly Roger. I will fly a freaking Star Trek flag of some description if I want, because I can. Because there's no law.
Yeah.
The lawless waterways of the UK.
Lawless waterways of the UK, yeah. But don't go more than 5 miles an hour.
But you can't go more than 5 miles an hour.
No.
What's that in knots? That's like 4 knots, isn't it? Or is it the other way? It's 6 knots.
It's more or less the same, isn't it?
It's it's around. I think it's like I'm gonna have to check now. Sorry, I'm gonna have to check. MPH2 knots.
How many knots to the mile?
There are 0.86 nautical mile. Sorry, 1 mile an hour is 0.868976242 nautical miles per hour.
Okay.
So 5 miles per hour equates to 4.34 knots. I knew it was roughly the same. So 70 miles an hour is actually 60 knots.
There we go.
There you go. 61 knots. I'm going to remember that now when I'm driving up the motorway. I'll be like, I'm driving at 61 knots.
Yeah.
Because why not? Because I'm sad.
Well, yes, but it'd be handy. Well, it wouldn't be handy at all. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It'd be handy in a pub quiz.
Well, yes, that's true. That's probably the only place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was imagining driving along kind of parallel to a waterway. You can say, if I was in that waterway, I'd be going 61 knots.
Yep.
I think you'd notice if you're going 61 knots.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I tell you, going 60 knots on water is a frightening experience.
I mean, on a canal, I imagine it is, yeah.
Well, yes.
Those corners come up fast, man.
Even on a, because I've been on a rib going that fast.
Okay.
Not a McRib.
McRib.
Yeah.
Don't eat the McRib.
No, you've already said this. You said don't eat the McRib. It's terrible.
It's so bad. Did I say this on the last time we were on it? A month ago.
It could have been. It could have been. Yeah, but I remembered.
Awful.
Yeah, I feel like well, it's gone now.
I was like, is it gone now?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're back to the double Big Mac.
Okay.
Which is a stupid thing. I mean, double Big Mac. I mean, it's
dumb. 4
thin patties. I mean, why not just give you why not just have double quarter pound of cheese
with an extra bit of bread in the middle? There you go.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
The quarter pound of Big Mac.
Right. Dum.
I say stop presses. Bex has finally told us something.
Right. Okay. Just after the nick of time.
Yep.
To close the show, perhaps.
Maybe.
Bex has finally come to us and said, I'd quit my job if she won the lottery. So, in case her employers are listening, I'd quit my job, travel around the world, hire a tutor for my son so he could come with me, but an amazing house with a pool, gym, spa, lots of land, hire a cleaner, and an ironing person. Ironing person.
You just want a housekeeper then, right?
Yeah. But it carries on. Buy a brand new Qashqai to replace my written off one.
Okay.
See, now now you can see the bitterness about the insurance.
Yep.
And make sure my make sure my parents are looked after in their retirement. Laudable.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Qashqai though. Really? To be fair, there's actually nothing wrong with Qashqais. I kind of like them. I was talking to a friend the other week because he's in the market for a new car. Because his fiance has got like a knee injury and is finding it increasingly difficult to press down.
Like a knee injury or a knee injury?
She has a knee injury,
right.
And it's finding it increasingly difficult to depress the clutch in cars. So she wants an automatic, so they're looking at automatics. And he asked me what I thought of the Qashqai, and I said, well, they're nice cars, but for basically the same money, or the same specification, same mileage, you can get a Nissan X-Trail, and they're a bit bigger.
Yes, and they look
cool.
They do look quite cool, actually.
The new X-Trails look amazing.
But I tell you what, if you are going to get a Nissan X-Trail, see, I brightened up at this point, right? Because
I'm talking your language, Ted.
I saw one the other day. In fact, it was weird because I saw a Qashqai at the petrol station, right? And it was grey. It was like mid grey. Anyway, it looked really good in the grey. And then, as I was driving out to the petrol station, I thought I was behind it, and then I thought, well, hang on, no, that's an X-Trail. And I thought, well, maybe the thing that I saw was an X-Trail. It's quite similar at the side. But
similar profiles,
and then I looked back, and the Qashqai was still there. Yeah. So it was another one in the grey, but the grey looked very good in both vehicles. So there we go. There's your so your friend should buy a grey X-Trail.
He was looking at one that was blue, which was actually just up the road from where I live. He sent me a link to it, and I was like, oh, so when you pick that up, you can fly by and grab a Five Guys on the way and come and drop it off to me. And he was like, yeah, the distance wasn't lost on him. I was like, okay. So, but I think he bailed on that one in the end. I think it was too expensive for his budget. Yeah. But again, because we had a call and we did a bit of comparison work, and I was like, look, okay, Qashqais are nice. Again, I like them, especially the new ones. I really like the look of the new Qashqai. But the X-Trail is just a bit extra. It's a bit bigger, and obviously being a big guy, I like big space. Like I say, I'm pseudo-American anyway. I like big cars.
And you cannot lie.
And I cannot lie. And the X-Trail is just, if I had the choice between the two, like I say, if you gave me a like-for-like spec, and I'm sure, Bex, you'd probably say the same, if someone put in front of you the exact same cost, the exact same specification, mileage, everything, I would say go for the X-Trail every time. Because they are nice cars. Yeah, and I just think they look better than the Qashqai. And like I say, they're bigger, and you can put more stuff in them, and they're room for your kid. Room for the family. That's the thing. I've ridden in an X-Trail. They're
room
actually
for a pony.
Yeah,
swimming pool.
Yeah, and a pool. Yeah, and a gym. Have a gym in the boot. Don't know why he'd be there, but whatever. Dad jokes. So yeah. The X-Trail seems a bit excessive. Okay. But it is, like I say, they're not hugely bigger, but they are bigger, and I think they look nicer, personally. They look best in mag red. FYI. I like them in black. I'm not going to lie. I actually really like the X Trail in black.
Well, I'm all about the grey, but I tell you what, if you start going into the realms of an X Trail, then you're back to actually a Discovery or something.
Yeah, and it's all about I guess it's about your taste, isn't it?
Mm.
I look at the Discovery, right, and I see the UK's equivalent to the Ford Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, I've said it before. I really like the Ford Explorer. I'm not a big fan of the electric one, but it's growing on me. The electric Explorer, but the new 2025 Explorer that is out in America, and once again not coming to the UK, mainly because they are gas guzzling monsters, and would not pass a Euro 6 test or a Euro 6 assessment. They look really good as well. They do look really, really good. But the Discovery is basically the closest thing we're going to get to something like that, and I think that's why I like the Discovery. But again, if you put a Discovery next to an X Trail, I'm probably going to choose the X Trail because I don't like the interior of the Discovery. I don't like this big square thing in the middle of the steering wheel, obviously where the airbag is. I don't like that designing of Land Rover,
right?
Or that design element of Land Rovers. I prefer something a bit smaller.
Right.
She said. She never said that. But again, if somebody gave me a Discovery, I'm going to say no.
No.
I'm going to say I'd rather have a Discovery Sport. I think they look a bit better than the full-size Discovery. But yeah, if you put the two together, Discovery on X Trail, I'd probably pick X Trail. You do a lot of car and tech for your money with a Qashqai. Do you get a lot of car and tech for your money with a Qashqai or an X Trail? Well, modern cars, you generally get a lot of car and tech anyway, depending on the model you go or the trim level you go for. Most cars nowadays come with substantial technology on the base models. You may not get auto lights or auto wipers, but you're going to get your electric windows. You're going to get your you might get your cruise control, your voice control, the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, whatever your preference is there.
Radio cassette player.
Radio cassette player. Your 6 CD changer, Ted. Come on, that's where we're at now. The 6 CD changer.
Automatic choke.
Yeah, auto choke. Your
4-speed gearbox.
Your what do they call it? The 3. Oh, what do they call it? When they're describing a seatbelt, they call it like a 3 anchor point seatbelt or something. Okay, every car has those. Thank you. I don't need you to put that in the vehicle description, thanks. But when you're talking about tech or value for money or tech for money, it depends on what trim level you go for and what you want out of it as well. I'm a snob when it comes. I say I'm a snob. I love my tech in a car. I love cruise control. I love having auto lights and auto wipers. I've got auto high beams on my car. That's a cool feature, but it's also not the greatest, I don't think. You just put the high beams on, but if the sensors on the front of the car see lights, either red lights in front of you from a car in front or headlights coming towards you, it just automatically turns them off. Which is kind of cool, but also a bit lazy, and I don't really like it. I much prefer having control over that myself.
Is there an option to control it yourself?
Yes. Yeah, you can still do it yourself. So that's on the auto light setting. If I just turn my lights on manually, I then get full manual control over the high beams.
Okay.
It turns off the auto high beam thing as well. But then again, I don't really find myself in many situations where I need high beams these days anyway. Most of my driving is done on the motorway or main roads. I don't really unless I'm being diverted somewhere because there's an accident on the motorway, I don't find myself down lanes that don't have lighting of some description or other traffic. So I tend not to use them. But yeah, it's down to what you want, Bex. Really, down to what you want in a car. I'll always recommend the X-Trail. I like them. Not that you asked me for a recommendation, but you've got one now. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
and my recommendation is a grey one.
I need to have a look at them in grey to figure that out. Like I say, the ones that I've seen are generally black, and I think I really like them in black. They look quite sleek in black. But then again, as I said earlier, I'm actually a fan of the white car at the moment. The white car with black trim. I don't think the Qashqai or the X-Trail look good in white.
Too big.
They're too big to be white. Although, Discovery Sport looks good in white. But that's probably the biggest I'd go with a white car.
Yeah.
I think X-Trail is too big for white.
Yeah.
I think Qashqai is probably just the right size, but it just doesn't look good in white. I don't think, anyway.
Yeah.
But then again, if you like Mag Red, go for Mag Red.
Yes. Although when it comes to red, I much prefer maroon. Or burgundy, or what have you. That's always a nice colour for a car. But then I quite like green cars. Nice, you know.
Some cars look better in some colours than others do.
Yeah.
And a good example, actually, and if our mutual friend Romanik was listening to this, he'd probably have an accident. The Skoda Octavia.
Yeah.
The Skoda Octavia estate. Probably the saloon as well, but definitely the estate. They do it in a colour called Meteor Grey. And it's like a very light sort of clay grey colour. You imagine like the colour of clay when you're making a pot.
Yeah.
When you're doing pottery or that kind of thing. Not that I imagine you do that, but like a slightly lighter version. It's basically like this on my hoodie.
Okay.
Maybe this one. Or this one just here.
Yeah.
Kind of comes in this colour. They look amazing in that colour.
Yeah.
It's such a nice colour for that car. Other cars have tried to do similar, and it just doesn't quite look right, or look quite right. The Octavia, though, in Meteor Grey is really nice.
I think I might know what you mean. And it's not like a metallic.
No,
it's very much like a, not matte, but kind of.
It's just it's a non-metallic colour, but not matte. Like a standard, like before metallic paint became a thing.
Yeah.
You know, is that kind of, and they look so good in that colour.
Yeah.
But they look good in white, but I think they look better in this colour.
Yeah.
And again, if someone said, I'm going to buy you an Octavia, what colour do you want it in? I'm like, Meteor Grey, please. They look mean. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good green car. Lamborghini Huracan. Lamborghini Aventador. Lamborghinis look good in green.
Sports cars looking good in green.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They tend to be sports cars, though. You know,
Land Rovers look good in green as well.
Yeah, olive green. All the new Defender in olive green. I saw one on the motorway the other day.
Yeah.
Because again, you see the black, you see the silver. I think that's actually all I've seen them in.
Yeah.
And then I saw a matte olive green, like proper old school military. A brand new Defender.
Yeah.
In old school military green. Oh, I nearly crashed the car.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that, and that was one of I think that was kind of that tipping point for me where I turned from hating this new car to actually, I'm kind of into this. It's growing. It's really grown on me. Because when I first saw them, I was like, God, these are hideous. Who the hell at Land Rover thought this was a good idea? And they've really grown on me now, and I'm like, actually, if I was in that position again, if I won the lottery and I was staying in the UK and I wanted to get that kind of car, I'd absolutely get one in matte green.
Yeah, that happens a lot. They'll change your style of a car, and then you think, oh, I don't like that. Much prefer the old one.
Yeah.
But then it grows on you, and then you wouldn't go back.
No. What's the other one that grew on me? There was another one. Not so recently, certainly in the last few years, where I've kind of looked at it and I've just gone, "No, you've just ruined an absolute icon."
I mean, the Discovery was one of those. So, like, not the current one, but the one before that, and the one before that. I don't know what the numbers are.
The old Discovery. So you had the old Discovery, you had the Freelander,
yeah,
and you had something else, and they basically all looked the same.
Yeah,
They looked exactly the same, just in different sizes.
yeah,
Yeah, they may as well have just called it Land Rover Small, Medium, and Large at that point. I like the new discos. The new discos are nice. Yeah, I can't remember which car. It'll probably come to me in the middle of the night. But there was another car that did exactly the same thing. I looked at it and went, "You just ruined an icon, and it looks hideous." But as time has gone on and I've seen it more and more, it's grown on me, and I'm like, actually, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think of it. I will think of it.
Yeah. Bex has come around to my way of thinking and said, "I love matte grey Qashqais. I would get my new one in that." So
there you go.
Yeah. Now you just need to upgrade to an X-Trail, and there you go. You can thank us for our recommendations. When the money comes rolling in and you win the lottery, don't forget, we want barges, a brand new studio, preferably in the States, and a sack of cash each.
Big old sack of cash.
Yeah. Although I don't suppose they have barges in the States, do they?
I'm sure they do. But I was just about to say a big old sack of cash guy.
Big old sack of cash guy.
Yeah. So I needed to squeeze that in before it bothered me. I'm pretty sure barges exist in the US. I mean, they exist on, they have like big trash barges. And there's actually, there's a trade route. Is it a trade route or something down the Mississippi? Where they have barges. Okay, it's a different definition of barge. But
they had steamboats, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like but they now have like a big old tugboat.
Right.
Sorry. That basically pulls or pushes like 6 big barges, like with stuff on. It's a cargo link. It's cheaper than road or rail. Yeah. Goes down the Mississippi, goes through like some locks and things like that. It's pretty cool. Slightly different definition of barge. But I'm pretty sure there's got to be something. Maybe if Ruby is still around, she could tell us whether canals are a thing and canal barges are a thing in the United States. Because I don't actually know.
It's not. It's a different thing though. The whole network's different. I mean, if you think about it, we're talking about a country that's, relatively speaking, very young. And, we were going around in, what do you call it? Motor vehicles by the time they were sort of getting built. So you didn't need barges. You had like trains and other things. You wouldn't have a barge network in the same way as we do because that was the only way of moving coal across the country.
Yep. Horse-towed barges.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny to think how new that country is compared to others.
It's only 248 years old.
No,
we have houses older than that.
Yeah.
I think that's so there seems to be this thing on YouTube, or certainly I've fallen into this thing on YouTube of Americans reacting to British things. And some of the comments are definitely around the fact that there are things in the UK that are 10 times as old as the United States that still exist in the UK, and it blows their minds. And I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't blow every American's mind, I'm sure, but it's just that whole thing of they are flabbergasted by how old some of the stuff is. I mean, I am still as well. It's like Stonehenge, the oldest henge in the world or whatever. I don't know. Stonehenge, in thousands of years old. It's just there. Okay, it's a collection of rocks, whatever. Castles, thousands of years old, or hundreds of years old, thousands, whatever. There's still, evidences of of the Roman conquest and all that stuff. It's all there. Just all incredibly old.
I mean, they've got some old buildings in New York, but we've got Old York.
Yeah, we've got OG
That's really
York.
old.
Yeah, we got OG York.
OG York. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good they only have to name it once.
Yeah, exactly. Ruby has answered my question, thankfully. We still use barges and canal systems, especially in long rivers. Yeah. So when we say a barge, Ruby, what we're talking about is literally it's a boat. It's not this long. 40 feet long? About as long. I think the longest ones you'll get is about as long as a truck trailer. Maybe not that long. But they're very narrow, very thin. Commonly called a narrowboat in some places. And you basically have like a little gas stove in there. You've got the tiller at the back and things like that. And people just use them for leisure, and some people live on them. We're not talking about transporting things, a little living thing. That's what I'm asking about America, because I'm not sure. I don't know if that exists. So when I've heard Americans talk about barges, I'm thinking these massive transport platforms, if you like, that go down a river. We have narrow boats that are purpose built to operate in purpose built canals. There you go, houseboats. Okay.
Yeah, but a very small house.
But they're very small, like I say, really narrow as well. You're talking, probably 6 feet across at the most. I'm just trying to think of scale, having been on a barge. Probably 5 to 6 feet across at the most. But quite long. They're long, thin, and they are purposely designed to go on a canal. And canals are purpose built they were purpose built for transporting goods initially, but obviously as the world has moved on, they're now more for leisure. Our barges are nothing like yours. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Come to the UK, Ruby, and we will treat you to a trip on a barge.
There you go. You can't say fairer than that, can you?
Exactly.
What a great invitation.
Come to the
we
UK.
could invite all of our viewers to a barge trip. Because there won't be that many.
No. We can handle four people. That's what we got right now. We can handle 4 people. That's fine. There is enough room for Ted, myself, and 4 viewers. 4 viewers to come and be on a barge for a day.
Yeah.
Wherever you're coming in from is probably not a valuable use of your money.
Yeah, but even so, get in the comments, and we'll make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not exactly Mr. Beast level hospitality, but we could put you on a barge. How about that?
Let's not talk about Mr. Beast.
Why are we not talking about Mr. Beast? What's he done now?
He's in trouble.
Is he?
That man's in trouble for many things.
Really?
Poor treatment of people and contestants and on his shows and stuff. Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble. I met that guy. So I hear. I haven't read the full facts. I was talking to some gamer friends, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Beast he's at it again." And I'm like, "What? At what again?" And then they take me through the whole thing, and I'm like, "Okay, I may go and read up on that later," and then I never do because I'm really not that interested.
Well, I tell you what, we can gossip about that after the end of this very ad hoc episode of the Tuesday show.
Oh, we're going to talk that? Okay, between us. I thought After this very inadequate segue to today's
No.
sponsor.
You see, this is where we should do an after hours. Give us money, Patreon type extras, where we say what we really think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to get it onto something like Pepperbox or something where there's no restrictions.
So there we go. Yes, it's been an absolute blast. I forgot what I was going to say now.
You can find Ted on all the social media.
That's the one. Yes. Why not get in touch? Tell us about your what flavor? What color would you buy a Qashqai in? What would you buy if you won the lottery? Have you been on a barge? Do you own a barge? Do you live on a barge? Would you like to live on a barge? Do you fly a plane? Would you live in would you have an aeroplane? Would you live next to a runway? Get in touch and let us know. You can DM me at Ted James Media, or you can DJ. You can. What's the other thing?
DM.
You can DM. That's the one. You can DM CJ at CJ Brooks FM, and you can of course also email us at
CJ and Ted at thetuesdayshow.co.uk.
That's the one. And so until next time, until next week, goodbye.
Bye everyone. You can tell we're out of practice. We'll hopefully see you next week.